We got the power of Grayskull and the power of armpit hair and so much more to talk about this morning on Midnight's Edge in the Morning. Comedian Chrissie Mayr joins us this morning. Hope you had a good week. We're kicking off your weekend here with Midnight's Edge in the Morning. We got Andre the Boss Man with us. How you doing, Andre?
Greetings, everyone. I am good, but never mind me, because we have someone much more interesting on the panel, don't we, Tom?
That's right. Joining us for the first time on Midnight's Edge in the Morning is Chrissie Mayr. How you doing?
Hello. I'm going to clap for myself. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we don't have the sound effects like Gary, so yeah, he's got the thing, yeah. But welcome. For those who don't know, Chrissie is a comedian, and she is hilarious. And she knows all this nerd geek stuff as well. So it's always fun to talk to her. So welcome, and we're glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I like watching your little pulsing photo instead of a video. No, it's cool. It's more eyes on me. Oh, there you are. Hello.
No one wants to see that face.
I want to see
pop
it.
On.
Yeah, and also Chrissie, of course, has her own YouTube channel and her own blog, and of course Twitter, all of which are linked to in the description. So make sure to check all of that out when you can't get enough of Chrissie. Jakob Romanski also says, welcome, Chrissie Mayr.
Oh, hi,
Jakob. Speaking of welcoming, we also have to welcome Mondo Bizarro, who has become a member of the channel. So greetings.
Welcome.
You will enjoy all the bonus content that we have in store for members. Then we also have Dash D's joining us, which is awesome. And we have Mags, who is here, and she says, "Hail Midnight's Edge, Chrissie Mayr, chat and fellow wrenches." Indeed, Mags is a wrench now, so better watch out. And at the end, Velma also makes that point, that who's also here. And then we also have Rob Altus here, who says, "Hail Midnight's Edge in the AM," please, depending on where in the world you are. And we have Graham Orr, who says, "Good afternoon." So he's evidently not in the continental United States. Like
is it
me.
midnight in Norway? Where is it midnight right now?
That would be further into Asia, is where it would be possibly Australia. In Norway right now, it's 6 p.m. or 10 past 6 p.m. because we like to be fashionably late. But yeah, so it's not quite midnight here just yet. And we have Rick Lucy, we have Jason Gallagher joining us, and Hector Garcia, and many, many others. We even have a couple of super chats. Spider Unlimited says, "Oh my God, my favorite girl, Long Island repping."
Yeah, man. Strong Island in the house. Rockville Center. Woo! A lot of trashy people from Long Island, so we stick together.
And we have, Yellow Flash is here, and Nina Infinity is here as well. Awesome, cool. I liked your video earlier yesterday, Yellow Flash. Yeah, and Doggy is in the background.
What kind of dog is that?
Sadie is she's a mix between a Husky and a German Shepherd. So she likes to talk back, and she gets very loyal and does not go very far.
Who needs a girlfriend? Just kidding.
She'd get between us.
Oh, kinky.
And Stephen Otten also says, "Hail Andre, Tom, Chrissie, Wrenches, and Midnighters." Yes, indeed. Hail everyone. And Granwasu42 sends us a super sticker. And let's see what else. And is here. Yeah, don't you just love that name?
It's just noises, yeah.
And she says, "Hello, Miss Mayr. Hi, gents. Hello, everyone." And let's see what else we can bring up on screen. Oh, Release the McCracken also joined us as a member. So welcome and thanks for that. And Darius Minchhausen also sent us a super sticker. And that's what I can bring up on screen.
We actually just got one from Nicholas Horton as well, who says, "Hail mostly everything in that trailer from before the time skipped, except for a few scenes, but at least animation is better than She-Ra. We're going to talk about that real soon, actually. The He-Man trailer that just came out. That's right. Sadie's got her piggy.
Yeah, we are indeed. Today is actually going to be like a cartoon and animated heavy day, because as Michael Miller also points out for 14 South African Rands, thank you so much, it's time for animated Lord of the Rings 2. Come on, WB. Yeah, that's also coming. So we'll be talking some Lord of the Rings. We'll be talking some He-Man. We'll be talking some of the fantabulous and empowering comic from the Queen of Madness, or whatever the Amelia Clark was called.
Mom of Madness.
Again. Mom of Madness. Yeah.
There was also that Velma news as well for those Scooby-Doo fans out there who were just dying for a Scooby-Doo show without Scooby-Doo in it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there must be some. That kind of like fits with the overall strategy of Warner Media under its current management, doesn't it? But let us get into the news. We have, of course, the He-Man story. Says right down the road in Long Beach, NY. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, let's get into the He-Man story. Right after we address Golgo 13, aka Brandon the Infinite Wolf, who says, "Hail Tom, Andre, Chrissie, and all others. Today is a good day for you to take my money. In all seriousness, keep the awesomeness going." Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We will indeed be awesome now that we have such prestigious company here as Chrissie.
And Nato says Chrissie is in Mug Club. Love it. Yeah, she's got the coffee going this morning.
Oh yeah, this Mug Club. Talking about louder with Crowder.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice.
Absolutely.
We have some more super chats, and we're going to get through all of them by the end, not necessarily in order. But for right now, let's start to get down to business and today's news. Yeah. And let's start with what many seem to be excited about, namely the new He-Man trailer. Now, everyone knows that Tom and myself, we are, of course, big He-Man fans. Of course, Tom tries to deny it, but we all see Castle Grayskull in the background there. So, yeah.
Oh, that old thing?
But
that's the dog's toy. That's not mine.
Yeah. But Chrissie, how about you? Were you at all aware of or into He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, or were you more into She-Ra, or none of the above?
I was my older brother, who's like 5 years older than me. So he's probably like 42 now. He was really into He-Man. My sister was into She-Ra. But I would sort of like, come into the room. I would kind of watch it when both of them were watching their respective programs, but I'm gonna lean more to He-Man just because like he seems like more toxic masculinity, which is what I'm really into. I feel like in terms of spank bank material, He-Man is kind of more what I'm looking for.
I don't blame you. Don't blame me for that.
They're both great. I mean, they're both great. They both were made at a time when they were not trying to pander to certain groups. So it seems kind of like more pure than like the stuff that's out now.
Yeah, it was really more just like, what are kids going to want to play with,
Yeah.
And in so being, it was actually naturally progressive and diversive and inclusive without trying and without making a point out of it. I mean, if you look at that writer's room, how many females were prominent there? How many, is this a bad term to use now? But how many people of color? I don't know if that's popular this week or what, but anyway, how many people of color were there?
Yeah.
In that writer's room, and also on screen, how everyone was equal. Surely that was like a society to aspire to, and they did it without even making any kind of point out of it whatsoever, way back in the early to mid 1980s. And of course, that series, it got many fans around the world. It certainly changed my life. I can't even understate that. I mean, my first exposure to the English language and even to non-communist cartoons were literally He-Man. I seriously, I kid you not, like in Norway back in the early 80s, what we had on the one state channel was like the approved programming, which was pretty dull and dreary stuff, and the most cartoons we got was like chess moles and Polish neighbors. I don't know exactly where they're from, but they're basically Eastern European neighbors helping each other out with home improvement.
Really?
So like, yeah,
I
for
thought it'd
real.
be all like Viking cartoons or like Viking related or trolls.
No, we had some trolls, but they didn't like send the proper message at the time in Norway in the 80s. So weren't too many Vikings in children's TV back then. I'm happy to send you some samples of what we got afterwards.
Yes.
Because much of it is on YouTube. But what I will say is that when we got two Western things. We had from the UK, we got Postman Pat and we got Thomas the Tank Engine, like good workers.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Back when it was cool to work hard.
Yeah. And from America, we got Fraggle Rock. Good socialists.
Oh, yes.
So that was awesome. And then one day from cable, we got He-Man. And to say that it blew our minds is an understatement. Like my generation, we were completely mind blown. We had never seen anything like it. So yeah, that was like a life-altering experience. It was even my first exposure to English. Like literally, my first words in English were in a far worse accent than I have right now. By the power of Grayskull, I have the power. Those were approximately my first words.
I want that to be my ringtone.
I'm sure many people will clip that. So yeah, to say that I'm excited for a He-Man revival, that's something of an understatement. Tom, how about you?
Well, first let's go to Kevin Smith's reaction. There we go. We got it. Okay. We're just curious if he was crying or not. I just want to make sure. No, he cries about everything. I like it. Some of the voices I'm kind of on.
You're not happy about Alicia Silverstone getting work again?
What's funny is I always make the joke that people keep asking her if she'll play Batgirl again, giving her the delusion that she actually has a career. But no, I mean, the voice cast for the most part I'm fine with. The look of it, great. Looks amazing. But like most people, I'm afraid we're gonna get a bait and switch. Oh, we lost Chrissy. She'll be back though. Looked like her net was kind of goofing on her. But yeah, I'm afraid we're going to get a bit of a bait and switch. But what I've seen so far looks good. It's the other stuff I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
And she's back. There we go.
I'm here.
No worries. We figured he started circling. So we were like, uh-oh, it's the net. Yeah. This is what, of course, I don't think you've seen this yet, Chrissy, but
before we do, I will say though that the voice cast for this cartoon is the most incredible voice cast I have ever seen for any animation ever, bar none. I mean, like I discussed the voice cast with Mr. H from Mr. H Reviews when it first came out, and like we couldn't believe all the talent they had there. I mean, Henry Rollins and everyone who's anything. I mean, should have just made like the live action movie with those people. So the voice cast is incredible, and the animation is also fantastic. The character designs are amazing. Well, certainly for the men, for Orko and the women, perhaps not so much, but certainly for the men, it's all amazing all around. So I just want to stress that in there, that it has all the requisites of being an incredible revival show. All the ingredients are there. But, and here comes the but. Tom, take us through it.
Well, the but, I don't know if you've seen this yet, Chrissy. This thing.
What, is He-Man on steroids? Let's see his
nor
Instagram
like,
account.
Someone is
Teela.
on steroids, but I don't know if it's He-Man.
As you see here in the photo, this is from a latter portion of the show, we're assuming, where Teela kind of takes over. That's her in the middle there.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I don't. The basic idea of the show is it starts with the final battle of Skeletor and He-Man, and then the rest of the show is about Teela learning her place, which for those who know the legend know what that is. But yeah,
in the kitchen.
No,
Right? That's why she's got those knee pads. Go on, girl.
Well, her and He-Man did have a kid eventually, didn't they, Andre? If I remember right, Hero.
Ooh.
Yeah, in some parts of the mythology, I believe that is right, but I don't think it's going to be this part of the mythology.
Oh, they'll have a
Look at her
kid, all
haircut.
right.
Yeah.
And her name will be Hero.
Yeah. But before we get into that, we have to give the credit where credit is due, and that is to Clownfish TV, because when this was first announced, the cast and everything, it all looked beyond incredible. It really, really did. The first ones to alert everyone that things might not be all that well were Clownfish TV, because someone associated with the production had reached out to them and more or less let them know that the plan for this is that it's kind of a bait and switch. This is not their words. This is just my retelling of it. That it's going to start off as massive nostalgia bait, but before long, He-Man is going to be sucked away. And after that point, it's She-Ra's show. She-Ra and her Femmes of Power, who will then have to, if it's even possible, rescue He-Man, but it will be their show afterwards. So the image that we're looking at on screen here might be, we don't know, but that might be the Masters of the Universe after a certain point in the series, when all of the problematic, troublesome men have been removed.
What's the name of that ghost character back there?
That was Orko at one time.
Orko. Yeah. Does that fulfill the they requirement?
I think so, because I think they're like playing a little bit with Orko's sexuality there. And I should look
a little. Well, looking at that image and those hairstyles, I think they might be playing with the sexualities of more than just Orko.
Very true.
Yeah.
Wow. So exciting, guys. So diverse.
I know. I'm hoping that this is not representative of what we're going to get, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so
we also have another problem.
And the problem is then that this is then the new rumors that were spread from Clownfish TV that Teela would be the one essentially being the real star of the show after the nostalgia bait had drawn people in. Kevin Smith, of course, came out on Twitter to deny this and humiliate Clownfish TV in the process, which I think is something that might come and bite him in the ass right now, because now the official synopsis of the series says pretty much the same thing. Tom, do you have the official synopsis there?
Let me see if I can grab it here.
Is that a bike helmet one of them is wearing on the right?
That's the one. I can't think of the name of the character. He's like a robot.
Yeah, it looks like she's holding like a Native American like drum, like from Karate Kid.
All right.
No, all right.
Yeah. Well, that's Evil Lynn's. That's her.
Oh, that's a huge lollipop. I can't tell.
That's a huge lollipop.
I have it here. If you don't
got it finally, go for it.
I got it. Yeah. After a cataclysmic battle between He-Man and Skeletor, and this is the official synopsis, Eternia is fractured and the guardians of Grayskull are scattered. And after decades of secrets tore them apart, it's up to Teela to reunite the broken band of heroes and solve the mystery of the missing sword of power in a race against time to restore Eternia and prevent the end of the universe. So yeah, no small stakes there. But yeah, that basically just kind of confirmed the rumors, didn't it? That Teela is the main star of the show, and Kevin Smith always talked about how this one plot thread, which was in the original series, about Teela's destiny not being resolved, and this is true. He is right about that. However, in my opinion, this is what we call a B plot, which should bow down to the far more important A plot, namely Skeletor's relation to He-Man's father, King Randor, and therefore to He-Man himself, as well as Skeletor's relation with Evelyn. To me, that was always the cornerstone of the series and the plot line that really needed to be resolved. And then the background, of course, you also deal with Teela. But omitting what should have been the A storyline completely, which it looks like they're doing, in favor of pushing Sheila to the forefront, that does seem very current year politics to me, just like on the surface.
Well, it's like the old saying goes, behind every He-Man
there's a She-Man.
Oh,
you
Lord.
know.
Well, and then there's the other aspect of this with Kevin. And Leo Convoy's put this little clip together, which is kind of funny. So I'm going to play it here real quick.
When I was a kid, I'd watch He-Man and Masters of the Universe when I got home from school. From 1981 to 82, it was a ritual. When I was a kid, I'd watch He-Man and Masters of the Universe when I got home from school. From 1981 to 82, it was a ritual. From 1981 to 82, it was a ritual.
If I could turn back time.
Well, this is not the first time Kevin's had to put his foot in his mouth, as far as I'm concerned. Because, of course, when he started the show, he was a huge fan, right? Yeah. Well, back in 2010, he posted this. And also on his show Comic Book Men, he declared he was never a He-Man fan. And he would have already been in his teen years by the time He-Man was on television. But, you know, I'm not going to say nothing. I liked Kevin Smith back in the day, but his shill ways, his crying, and this lying to us is just bullshit. Because he could have been like, look, I've never been a He-Man fan, and I would have been fine with that. Because I know he's a comic book fan. All he had to say was like, look, I know Conan. I know this kind of stuff. I think I can bring something interesting to the table. That's all he had to do, is be honest with us. Because as you know, Andre and I point out, like Nicholas Myers wasn't a fan of Star Trek when he did Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. So he just went back and researched it, understood it, and he gave us the greatest Star Trek movie we ever had. So again, I don't hold the fact that he doesn't like He-Man against him. I hold the fact that he's lying his ass off for the last 2 years against us.
Is he going to be a character?
No, he's the showrunner.
He's just going to, okay.
So, but he's also like Andre said before, he went after Clownfish TV, which is really a dick move because, I mean, they're a channel about the same size as us, and he's a big fucking director.
Yeah.
I mean, that's punching down pretty big time to where, you know, especially when you're like, oh, no, this is bullshit. And then, like Andre said, the synopsis kind of puts some egg on his face, especially with that pic I just had up. It kind of shows exactly what Clownfish was reporting, that Teela was the key to the episode, key to the show, not He-Man.
They could just update it and make Teela Tequila a character. I haven't seen her in years.
No, the last time I saw her was when she was at that concert. That was fun. You know, like I don't know exactly what, but it was like the gathering of the Juggalos and stuff that. And then she was there, and the crowd didn't like her, and she was like, "There, I'm not going anywhere." And then they threw like bottles at her, and someone apparently threw like feces at her and hit her in the mouth and stuff like that. And That's the
Just
last
a
time I saw
typical
her.
weekend for old Teela, and her superpower, she could shoot ping pong balls out of a certain place.
And especially when you then team that up with the gathering of juggalos, that's going to go
Oh
really
gosh.
well.
Are you down with the clowns? But no, I'm hoping this is a good show, but it's split up into 2 parts. We get the first part starting already in like a month. And then I don't know when the second half is going to drop. But yeah, other than that, Andre, do you have any more to say about He-Man until we actually get to see it?
All I will say is that I really sincerely hope it's going to be good, because there are not many properties that I can say changed my life without being hyperbolic. But He-Man literally is one of them. I mean, He-Man is the property that opened my eyes to there being a world outside my little land. That came with He-Man. So, of course, I would have discovered that sooner or later anyway. But I discovered it with He-Man because that was just such a contrast to all the other children's programming me and all of my generation were subjected to in Norway in the early 80s. And Chrissy, I'll send you some samples
Oh yeah.
of what it was we were subjected to. That should be a hoot. I'll send it to you as well, Tom. Some of that was fun stuff, but you kind of like see the implied messaging, and He-Man was a contrast to that, and so much better.
And maybe He-Man can lead the way on, like, making white guys great again. Maybe it's white guys' turn to shine. I hope so. I've always been a fan of them.
Yeah. And like Neil, our good
see.
friend, says here, my respect for Smith went out the window when he went after Clownfish. They did nothing wrong, and it is petty of him for He-Man waiting on reviews. Yeah, that's kind of where I came from, Neil, because I've always been a pretty big fan of Kevin Smith's.
Yeah. I will say, though, that trailer was pretty awesome. I mean, that's like one of the most pulse-pounding trailers that I've seen in ages. And the music was so perfect for it. So perfect for it. So had it not been these rumors that we have to like soil the hype, I would have been all in on this.
Yeah, nostalgia reprisals done right are very satisfying. Like, that's how I felt watching Stranger Things. I was like, ooh, they really hit the feeling of this nicely. So I hope they just do it justice, and it's not like another example of taking advantage of our nostalgia. Just to play
or
out.
something like Cobra Kai. Nicholas Horton says Lieutenant Andra in the original Filmation show and mini comic was a redhead character, so she's been race swapped. Yes.
Wow.
That was that black lady in the picture I showed you. She was actually a redheaded character. So more ginger side going on, of course.
Gingers are being erased. This is an issue that we're not talking about enough.
Well, actually, we can maybe get into the whole Velma thing later, too, because she's another ginger that's being erased because they're changing her character. Yeah. Michael Miller says, Andre She-Man is in DreamWorks She-Ra show.
Yeah, that would be the one I never watched because I looked at the animation, I saw the messaging, and they screamed out loud to me, "This isn't made for you." So I listened, and I never watched it.
Well, and beyond that, now there's a separation between He-Man and She-Ra, but we're not going to get into all that shit right now. Merlin's Id says, is it wrong that I'm almost hoping for every single franchise to go woke just so they could collapse? I feel like I'm becoming vindictive. It's an understandable feeling. Yeah, at some point you're just like, fuck it, burn it all down. Start over. Yeah.
Problem is, though, that in doing so, what happens is that it's kind of like cutting off your nose to spite your face. I mean, it ultimately is your own properties or the properties you care about getting the shaft there. So yeah, that's the issue.
Cisco Sister, I think, is saying this, if I'm saying it right. Another stream with Chrissy. She has been everywhere amongst your mutual creators. Is quartering accurate that she is a whore for live streams?
Jeremy called me a whore for live streams. Wow.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I know I've seen you, of course, on Friday Night Tights, and I think I've seen you do another interview or two here and there, but I don't know
You know
about
what?
that.
Horse charge. I do this for
Yeah,
free, baby.
I was gonna say she's free, so
Yeah.
free all the way. And then we got one more super chat we can bring up, and then we'll get to the classics, and then we'll get to the Lord of the Rings news. Drew with Comics Elite says here, I'm willing to bet another super chat that every scene from that He-Man trailer is only the first episode. Straight up bait and switch. I said the same thing last night on Mead. I wouldn't be surprised, Drew. What about you, Andre and Chrissy? What do you think?
Oh, I'll say from Chrissy first.
That would really suck. I don't know. I just feel like fans have been in general just taken advantage of, like just take exactly what I said before, taking advantage of your nostalgia, getting you excited with a trailer like that. I could see somebody like my brother being so excited to watch that, with his young kids, and for him to, if it's just another thing, we're like, oh, and this is woke too, this is ruined, and you throw your hands up and you turn on Pornhub. I don't know. Just sort of get frustrated and turn it off.
Yeah, I hope that it's not a bait and switch. I hope that not all of that those glory shots were before and up to the disappearance of He-Man, when you had like that huge Skeletor arm coming to grab him, that's like the moment when he disappears. I hope that is not the case. I really hope it isn't.
Yeah.
Probably is though. Yeah.
Merlin's said they get the shaft anyway and call you man, baby. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no matter what happens, and sorry, Razor Fist. If I'd have known you were looking for one of the TMNT arcades, I would have got you one, because they actually were on clearance at Walmart a couple months ago. Again. So, but how you doing, man? I thought I saw EBS in the chat as well. Welcome. How you guys doing? But let's get back to some classic super chats. I know we had some from the beginning, Andre.
Yes, let's do that. But before then, let's do the ones we can bring up. Joel Rice says, Kevin Smith plus Netflix. Come on, it's bait and switch, of course.
I hope not,
and we'll see. And Christian, well, of course it is, but let's hope not. And Christian Coralejo says, for me, the plot is redeemable to me. Is if Teela is not trying to replace He-Man, but trying to get him back, because the universe needs him, including her. You see, there are ways to do this. There are ways where this can be redeemed, and right. I want it to be good. I mean, like for instance, Star Wars, I don't care about. Like I can reject or report on that with pretty dispassionately. And Star Trek is dead to me, and I don't care anymore. But He-Man, if it ain't good, that'll hurt. That'll hurt.
Yeah, I did notice that too. EVS, they did take the cross off his chest. They turned it.
That bothered me as well.
Yeah,
that bothered me.
They did that way back when on the original toy too, with one of the latter versions of He-Man. They changed it from the cross to the H. But then when they did the revamped version, they changed it back to the cross, but they added the little cross in between it. So yeah, but no, yeah, it looks better than I thought it was going to be. But I'm just hoping it's not.
Maybe she's getting him back because she's got a huge crush, and then she's like, "I want to give up this life and bake you pies."
Unfortunately, it's kind of in the cards, but it's not. It's one of those things, like, not to give away spoilers for those who may not be aware of it, but like, she has a destiny that's kind of predestined, obviously, so it's there. It's going to happen, but it's how they get there. And Script Doctor says they replaced it with a logo that looks like an H and an M. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, it's kind of like those insane people who wanted Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, right? Bastards. But all right, we've got some super chats to get to. I have the powder.
What, like it's summer and everybody's chafing? I have the powder. Or makeup, right?
Well, and also, as EVS points out here, they did at least make some differentiation between He-Man and Adam, because of course in the old show, we all know, in between the toys and the show, it was cheaper for them to just use the same same designs for both. Then,
So kudos for that. I mean, and that's why I want this to be good, because the animation, all of this, all the ingredients for a fantastic show is there. I mean, just look at the voice cast. How freaking amazing voice cast is that? They have Lena Headey as Evelyn. I mean, I'd want her in the movie. But so all they have to do with all the ingredients is simply not mess it up. So let's hope that they do.
He-Man looks good though. Like,
they all look good. Well,
he's been in the gym.
Yeah, as well.
He lost his quarantine. He lost his COVID-19. He's all whew. He's looking good.
Yeah, He-Man did look pretty jacked. I was kind of surprised. I'm surprised they didn't like slim him down a little bit to make him look a little more feminine, because that's usually the case in these situations.
That's usually the case, but instead they jacked everyone up. Instead of like feminizing the men, they masculinized the women. So yeah,
I'll take it.
Which also works. Yeah, I think I'll take it too. But,
But let's grab those classic super chats so we can get to some Lord of the Rings talk.
Yeah. And the next one we have of the classics is Dash D's, who says, "Hey, Miss Mayr, I checked your IMDb page, and under known for, it showed Pampers, like what you like, but I'm not sure it was relevant."
Really? I would not say I'm known for Pampers or any diaper, actually.
Were you mistaken the weirdest thing ever. In a commercial or something, maybe?
No, I've definitely never done any Pampers commercials. Maybe when I'm older, that would be nice. Like, you know.
Well, IMDb, never trust the IMDb, because according to the IMDb, like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers secretly runs this channel along with everyone else in our
wow.
I'm waiting for him to pay me yet.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
So secret.
And then we have Nicholas Horton, who says, "Hail! Mostly everything in that trailer is from before the time skip, except a few scenes. But at least the animation is better than She-Ra." Yeah, that doesn't take much, but still great animation. And then we have, let's see, we got that one. Six says, "Because Tom turned his cam on, she sends a kiss." So yeah, that's nice. And Mexican Iron Man, our good friend Mike, who helped us with the incredible Stand and Deliver reunion panel yesterday, where we had, who did we have there, Tom? We had some pretty amazing people there.
Besides Mr. Edward James Olmos himself, we also had Lou Diamond Phillips and several other members of the cast. It was a lot of fun. Check that out.
Yeah, it's on the channel, so do check that out if you haven't seen it. It was incredible, and thank you, Mike, for being organized it, and of course to Paulie for making it happen. And anyway, Mexican,
speaking of Mike, it sounds like he's gonna match whatever the donations were.
Ooh,
so awesome! Yeah. And what he says then is, "Today's guest is epic. Smart, insightful, analytical, and pretty, and a fellow Mug Club member. Welcome to Midnight's Edge, and a fantastic show, everyone."
You just made a bunch of geeks freak the fuck out. You do realize that, right?
Good. Oh, good. I expected more edging on this podcast.
It is Midnight's Edge, after all.
Midnight's edging, yeah. Let's see it, guys.
And then Hypergiver 2 says, in reference to the He-Man trailer, "This trailer pisses me off. It literally gives you everything you want, and that seemed wrong. A clear misdirection, and the Netflix synopsis proves it." So, some people are apparently unconvinced. And then Sontar says, "Amazon experimented spinning off video with Anime Strike. It failed. I have no doubt Amazon Video will never be more than a second-tier scale service." That's for you, Tom. I don't know too much about that. It was more of a comment. Amazon experimented spinning off video with Anime Strike. It failed. I have no doubt Amazon Video will never be more than a second-tier scale service.
I'm not sure I've ever heard of Amazon
Video.
And I
The
know
only-
I've never heard
Yeah.
about Anime Strike. I mean, I don't speak anime.
Was it something they
So-
tried before Amazon Prime or something? Or was it some kind of app or offshoot that they tried? I've never heard of it. Yeah.
I've heard of Amazon Music.
Yeah. Amazon Music and Amazon Prime, which has the video on it. Unless it's the same. Yeah. I'll have to check that out and see what you mean by that. Sorry. Yeah.
Eris, the playful Nephilim, says, "Did you guys hear that Velma is getting race swapped to Asian? What's your thoughts?" Yeah, actually, let's go into that right away.
We can do that real quick. Yeah,
let's do that real quick.
Yeah, it came out in I don't remember exactly where it came out of, but like some announcement for the show. But Mindy Kaling, comedian Mindy Kaling, is working on a reboot of or a reimagining, I should say, of Velma from Scooby-Doo, and the show will not feature Scooby-Doo, and Velma will actually have an East Asian origin. So, in other words, she's gonna like typecast herself as Velma.
I mean, I get it. Velma was like kind of dumpy. Like she was kind of like the one. Velma is the chick that like if you took her out with you to like a night of drinking, she would be like the designated driver. She would tell you, she would hold your hair back. She would tell you to like, all right, you've had enough. Okay. But I just, I understand why they're swapping out for somebody more diverse, but it's just like, I can't say anything because I'm a white, so I don't know.
Well, first of all, she's another ginger getting swapped out. But
yeah,
I kind of look at it like, okay, normally, and we have a comedian here to actually kind of give us some insight on this. Normally, your goal, if you're in, if that's your, your vision for your career, is you want to get like a TV show where you're the star, or like a cartoon show, like back in the day. John Candy had Camp Candy and stuff like that, and I could see, Howie Mandel had Bobby's World and all that kind of stuff. Why doesn't Mindy just do like a younger version of herself and call it like Mindy Kaling Mysteries? Use the idea,
but
just make her own character. I mean, wouldn't that be your goal? Because aren't you selling you as the, you're your own copyright, you're your own IP.
She had the Mindy Kaling show, right?
Exactly.
After she left the what was it, The Office? So yeah, and I feel like somebody like an Emma Stone would fit the part, would look, better for Velma. But yeah, it's like you're just taking advantage of nostalgia to like insert yourself into a thing.
Yeah, like Megan Kurgan says here, it's too creative.
But again, this of course is going to be on HBO Max, and it's from Warner Media. And now just think back to what the head honcho of Warner Media, not Jason Kilar, but the one running production, and Sarnoff, proper Hollywood royalty. Remember what she said about the DC properties and their vision for them? Well, that was that they're going to play with them a little bit. They're not going to do anything that is too accurate to the comics. Instead, they're going to change them up a little bit, make them much more diverse, make them much more safe, so that audiences will be much more excited. So never mind the Snyderverse, because we have so much more exciting, safe, and diverse things coming your way. And apparently, this is the same basic strategy. I mean, no, it's not DC, but apparently it's the exact same strategy that they're employing on Scooby-Doo, because they're doing the same thing with John Constantine, who they are rebooting for HBO Max under J.J. Abrams. And there they've made it clear that we don't know exactly who will be the best fit for the role, but what we do know is that he's Southeast Asian or black. White people from Liverpool need not apply.
Wow. I'm wondering, is there no dog because somebody ate it and they're just not talking about it?
Ouch. No, yeah, you're right.
Had a dog.
Is not in this world. And I'm assuming that means all the other characters. But I think from the description, it's supposed to be a younger version of the character anyway, so that kind of makes sense.
It kind of seems like it's going to be a prequel, so that you'll have like Shaggy and Scooby-Doo show up in the last episode or something.
Maybe.
That seems to be what they're going with. Kind of like all of those Batman without Batman series, which are prequels and take place when Bruce Wayne is still a kid.
EVS asks, is the Velma going to be heterosexual? Is the new Velma going to be heterosexual, though? That's the thing. They already kind of made her in the movies. I remember that was a joke that was a bit heavier in the original script, but yeah, in the movies, they made her lesbian kind of.
Exactly. I agree with this super chat right here.
There you go. Master Clockwork says, so they made a brainy bookworm and Asian. Way to play with the stereotypes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's Hollywood doing diversity. I mean, I would love to have Kamran Pasha here right now to comment on that. I would just love to hear his thoughts on that. On this character of all characters is the one that they race bend. You couldn't have like that blonde dude who has like some masculine traits. No, you couldn't make him black or Southeast Asian. No, it's this one.
Would kill her to wear a V-neck top too?
EVA Unit 4A says Daphne is redhead, Velma is brunette. I don't know. I kind of guess. I mean, she looks redhead to me there. I guess you could say she's brunette.
Auburn. Maybe it's different.
Auburn
shots.
brunette. Yeah. Well, either or. Still,
all redheads matter. Yeah.
I don't really have the issue so much with the swap as it is. I'm sick of things like I don't want a Scooby-Doo show without Scooby-Doo just as much as I don't want a Batman show without Batman or a Superman show without Superman. Kind of defeats the purpose to me.
Yeah. It's all about the dog, man.
I mean, I could get it if you're doing Shaggy and Scooby by themselves. That makes a little more sense since Scooby-Doo is the draw, but I don't know. To me, it just sounds like you're doing something like between Daria and just some like kids mystery, like Dora Explorer kind of thing, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Then if that's the case, just like do your own thing. Like, why is Hollywood so like collectively, creatively bankrupt? Like, why does everything have to be a version or like a bastardization of something that came before it? Like what is so wrong? Are they really like that insecure about just having their own creative, unique idea?
Yeah.
Seems that way.
It kind of does. And in terms of DC, we actually got something of an answer from Small Screen, which has some very UK publication led by Edward Lauter, who we've had on the show before. And according to him and to his sources, part of the reason is that this is probably true for Scooby-Doo as well, but certainly is the case in terms of like DC and why they want to change it and hit all the diversity quotas and everything like that. The executives that do the green lighting, they don't understand the comics. The comics and the source material is difficult. It's too much to read. It's too much to get into. It's like pictures and everything. So it's word bubbles, and that's difficult for them. So what they prefer instead is something that doesn't even try. Something that uses the title of the comics, so you can sell that, but then they change it and instead just hit all the diversity points and just go really, really current year, because that's something that the executives can relate to and they can understand and they can green light based on those merits, because that's easy. That gives them brownie points. Whereas doing some kind of vetting into the source material, that's difficult.
Yeah. Scooby-Doo, more like a Scooby-Don't.
Oh.
Yet if you were to say, oh, let's remake Black Panther but make him white, everyone would lose their shit. But we can't, like, white people can't comment on a typically white character becoming more diverse. It's ridiculous.
I love this.
White Panther.
EVS said he should be getting some royalties for the Snyder Cut next month, and he's going to spend his royalties on Joss Whedon DVDs.
How specific?
That is pretty cool. I'm sure Joss Whedon would appreciate it.
Yes, that's right. I want 16 sets of Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show. I want 15 copies of the Avengers. Just going to buy a bunch of Joss Whedon movies. Well, we were going to get into the Lord of the Rings things, but since we're limited on time with Christie,
before the Lord of the Rings,
I want to get into that other one. Yeah,
let's do the other one first, because that's much more fun in any event. We spoke of this earlier in the week, but it bears repeating because it is so incredibly empowering. I mean, this is the most empowering pro-female thing that has ever been. Like, Tom, you and I, we can't understand this because it's not made for us. So we, of course, we can't really comment other than like neutrally go through it. But Tom, give us a rundown. Like, for those that haven't seen our early coverage or haven't heard it, what is this book from the super empowering Emilia Clarke?
Well, it's
What is
revolting. That's
Mother
what it is.
of Madness. No. That's just your toxic masculinity talking. Let's
I
not
know,
go
but
there.
Mother of Madness is Emilia Clarke's comic book idea because she claims that, you know, it's a boys' club and they need this.
Well, let's go back to the beginning, because it started when she went into like a comic book store back in the 90s or something, and no one told her anything, but she had a feeling.
Why does she have a sock on her head? Like, what is that? Is she going to rob a bank?
Is it supposed to be looking like a tampon?
Is that pantyhose?
I don't get it.
A condom with stripes? Or
yes, I'm using condoms differently now.
Okay, well, anyway, what she did though, since, you know, comic books weren't for girls, she wanted to make one for girls, and what better way than to make that time of the month, let's say, the time you're most powerful. And the powers include everything from super strength when she's pissed to swinging around like Spider-Man with her armpit hair. And we broke this all down a couple episodes ago. But since we have Chrissie here, I really want to get her take on this.
As a woman, and didn't they at one point in this article mention, like, well, there's certain powers that she has that we can't go into? It's like, well, then why not? Like, if she could shoot blood, to let us know. Like, what is she just like?
Yeah,
it's weird, because then the woke left, it's like, you'd have projects like this, but then, it's not friendly to trans women who can't menstruate. It's like, well, then which one is it? Like, which one are we going with? Like, true female empowerment, if that's what you think this is, or like hyper inclusivity to the point where nothing is anything anymore.
I know, right?
I think that this one appears to have taken the trans exclusionary direction, since it highlighted, like, one of the things that someone who, how do I put this that's not going to get us shut down? Well, basically, a person who is capable, like a person who's capable of giving birth.
Birthing person.
That's the
exactly.
Birthing person. That's what it's called.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the trans exclusionary, and like this whole thing, which is based on the power, which is the miracle of giving birth in the first place. This is something that's restricted to birthing persons only. So it's kind of like trans exclusionary to begin with. So she's kind of like set the tone right there. I'm sure there's going to be a huge amount of backlash from it. And Mr. Tickletrunk rightfully points out, I thought men have periods too. Sexist comic. Yeah. you could just see like all the protest that's going to come here. So basically, she has done the superpowers of like super inflatable breasts and excessive hair growth, and especially then the armpit hair, which can be used to swing from building to building like Spider-Man.
I don't know if this is intentional, but it's like, it just seems like and this is going to be a real hot take, like any decidedly male dominated arena, that is comic books, that is like Avengers movies, like whatever it is, whatever arena that is like mostly male interested and dominated, it's like, it just feels like there's forces that want to get in there and mess it up and dilute it and like make it less male. It's like, you don't see it would be like if you were like, oh well, I love wrestling, I love worldwide wrestling, whatever it is, let me get in there, but let me make a version that's like, that has no hitting, that has no fancy moves, that's less violent. It's like, well, then it's not that anymore. It's just, to me, it seems like they want to ruin it. I don't know.
You got an interesting point, because we've pointed that out, as several of us have, that's kind of the goal, or at least their aim in this whole idea, and it's not going to make a big difference until they get to sports. Then when they get to sports, then it'll make a big difference, because then people are like, hold up, because right now they're messing with stuff that only nerds really care about for the most part. But once they start messing with stuff that the general public starts to care about, then you'll start to see some pushback.
And who is this for? Like, are existing comic book lovers going to like really get into this? I don't think so. Like, are women who are not into comic books gonna get into this? I don't think so either. It's like, this is for show.
Well, Emilia Clarke seems to think so, and the people actually doing the writing seem to think so. However, I'm not sure that publisher Image thinks so either, because it's a digital-only thing. They're not taking the bother to actually print a paper copy. Take of that as you will, but they evidently do not expect too much in the way of physical sales of this. And also, I think that's probably a pretty good idea, because you see like the people on Twitter who would be championing for something like this. As you point out, they're not the kind of people that would be reading it. They would tweet their demand for it. They would retweet it that it's out, but I don't think that too many of them would actually go and pick it up. But I'm curious about like some of the powers here, because we are told that this is supposed to be empowering. And again, me and Tom, we can't really comment on it, but we've heard several of the female members in our community have expressed that the powers of bigger than usual breast, and especially this thing about swinging Spider-Man style from rooftop to rooftop in our armpit hair, didn't leave them feeling empowered.
It's not that like you get your
grossed out.
It's not that you get your period and your arm hair, like underarm hair, grows like crazy. Like, I mean, that's never happened with me, so I don't understand why like letting yourself go is kind of a superpower.
I do have to say, I'm very curious how they're going to visualize that. And this thing, to me, when you have someone like Emilia
you
Clarke,
shoot it out of your arm, like like maybe it comes right out, like instead of out of your wrist, it's just like.
There must be something like that. I don't know.
That would be painful, I would think, to swing like that, but
yeah,
probably
for sure.
But the reason I'm asking about like the visual thing, because when you have someone like Emilia Clarke who is backing it, like she says she writes, but that's BS. You have the writer's name, which is one that's on the comic, and she's just like the celebrity endorsing it. But what's interesting is that since this is kind of like the coverage it does, they're obviously fishing for a movie or streaming deal with this. And then, of course, Emilia Clarke is probably like a lock for the lead in it. This is kind of like why I wonder about how this is going to be visualized. How excited would you be for a Mother of Madness adaptation starring Emilia Clarke on film or on HBO Max or Netflix or wherever?
Ugh. HBO Max is so woke. It's just like every project I see coming out there, it's I don't know, it just seems like for show. I don't know. I don't mean to sound like too cynical, but
no, but I think you're right, Andre. It's completely designed for her self-insert character here.
Yeah, and self-insert characters, they are so good. They're the best, right? They're like Rey in Star Wars. I mean, you can't go wrong with self-insert.
Bestest ever.
Yeah. Or with what's her face again? Miss Marvel, is that it? Like
Captain Marvel?
No, not Captain.
The other
Marvel.
one, the new one.
The other one, like the
Fisto.
No, like the one that was like front and center in the Avengers game.
Yeah, Kit Fisto or whatever the hell, the one with the big fists.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, exactly. The one with the disgusting mutant power like that.
Yeah,
it was really disturbing to look at.
Well,
really
we also have another lady here to discuss this a little bit. One of our toxic femininity ladies, which is on Monday nights, has joined us to discuss this. Chrissie, meet Nina.
Hi, Nina.
Hey, how are you?
Girls.
I'm so excited. Nice to meet you.
What's up?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can you believe this? Hi, Andre, by the way. Hi, Tom.
Yeah, hey Nina. Good to see you again.
How's it going?
Yeah, good. I cannot believe this. Like with all of this, like what's going on here with this comic.
Well, we figured it'd be a little easier for you ladies to help talk about this
It's
than
not
us. 'Cause-
exciting. I don't know. It's icky. I don't
Is
even
it?
like the panel where they're all wearing masks. So this is my life now.
Is it just me too? If you go up like on the cover for a second, Andre, because I watch a lot of like, you know, film noir kind of stuff. Is it just me, or does it seem like kind of like one of those serial killers that's like stitching like weird
It does
body
look like a
parts
horror
together?
cover, or a book of a horror book, more like Stephen King. Something. It looks like it should be like Stephen
No,
King's Mother of
you know
Madness.
what
or
it
something.
looks. You know what it looks like to me. That looks like someone schizophrenic would design. Someone
yeah.
whose
Something like
mind
that,
is
yeah.
like all over the place. Who
Isn't
is
there like a Watchmen
completely nuts
character
and-
that pulls like a burlap sack?
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah,
Rorschach.
Rorschach.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
But
That's
his
what it
mask
seems like.
kind of makes sense because that's kind of like just like white with like these black patches on it that move around, and so his expression is basically whatever you, the reader or the onlooker, read into him, which is kind of cool. But that
Yeah.
costume to me is a look into the mind of a psychotic person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I got from this too. Like this is like some sort of weird psycho cover that I don't know what's going on with this, but
Right. If you're trying to embolden or like empower regular moms, regular women, well then like why do we have this creepy looking mask situation here?
exactly.
Like just have a mom with a pile of laundry. Like ta-da, or she's making a cape out of a sheet or something.
Yeah, or like she's like
Yeah.
at the park with her kid or something like
Mhm.
that. Like have the kid incorporated because that's what you're trying to talk about. That's your message, that it's a single mom. So you would think that it would be of the mother and the kid, and that, you know. or
Yeah, that's what it
something like
reminds me of, is Baron Zemo's mask almost
that. Mm.
when I saw it at first. But like, no, I'm curious. Like, if you guys saw this on a rack, would it even attract you to pick it up?
It would
No.
attract me in the sense that, like, again, I like weird psycho, like, oh, is this about some sort of serial killer? And then I would like, you know, look into it, and then it'd be like, no, it's about like some ladies that's a single mom that's getting her period and getting superpowers. I'd be like, okay, putting that back. Like that is
Yeah.
not.
Where's
or
the
like-
White Claw? Where's the Cosmo? Where is she? Like she's, you know, really on time for happy hour. Like let's see some real single mom activities.
Yeah,
like
or
totally.
like Jesse says here, it looks like a Pussy Riot cover.
It does. And
Ugh.
I was listening to EVS, who's in the chat, shout out, talk about this cover or like this thing. And you know, he mentioned like, what if like 9/11 or something like that happens when she's like not on her period, like
Or
so
some
she's not-
event where she can't do anything.
right.
like what would happen then? Like everybody's effed basically.
She's like, no, I'm good this week. Everything's balanced. My hormones
Yeah.
are chill.
sorry.
I
Can't help you
have
out.
nothing. I got nothing. I got some old receipts. You wanna?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, sorry, my armpit hair is not grown out extensionally this week, so can't
And
help
then
you
she needs
out.
to get her powers from like whoever she's dating. She needs to discover that like he's liked a lot of other girls' photos on Instagram and then she's filled with rage.
That's the
Yeah.
other thing, is when she's filled with rage, she gets superhuman power. That can be a problem.
Yeah.
Especially for men, because it seems like she's just not into men. That's what it seems like.
Well,
She's
she does
like,
have a boyfriend, but that was kind of the whole synopsis, is she's juggling life as a single mom, working as a waitress, and a boyfriend, and dealing with these superpowers once a month.
Yeah, then I'm sure that the boyfriend is probably a deadbeat of some kind.
Some
and over
kind.
the course of the series, she's going to discover that due to her superpower, she don't need no man.
oh my god.
Right.
Yeah,
That
doesn't
always
this guy
happens.
doesn't this guy come in and say something about being into her like platonically? Like who talks like that?
Let's just be friends. Where's her vibrator collection? Is this a real single mom?
No,
Come
he's a
on.
non-threatening guy. He's going to be all right.
Yeah, he's gonna be okay. He's like the neighbor. He's like the baby.
He's an Uber driver.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh my god. The other interesting part about all of this is how the reaction has been online, like in terms of no matter who you are, whether you're a man or a woman, critiquing this comic book and saying like this, I'm not interested in this, you're basically labeled as, anti-woman. There's something wrong with you, all sorts of weird stuff. I mean, EVS has obviously gotten the worst, but I had people coming at me because I was like, I'm not interested in this comic. I'm being like, people were like, oh, like, there's something wrong with you then because you just want to hate on this thing because you haven't even read it. And like, there's something wrong with you. And it's like, no, I'm just not interested in a superhero that gets powers once a month. And, it's gross. Like, I don't want to see her swing from armpit hair. That's not.
Was this somehow inspired by the PMS Avenger?
Well, that's the thing, is it comes off like a joke, and they claim it's supposed to be like Deadpool-esque.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I just don't understand how anybody would find this entertaining. And again, it goes to like
now, Tom, it's not made for us.
I know it's not made for us, but I was just going to say, Andre, as we bring up time and time again on toxic femininity, is this really appealing to the fan base, or is it just some shit pandering? Because, the ladies constantly say they'd rather see stuff, with masculine men and sexy women. And, would you guys really want to sit here and watch a movie of
boring?
Mom?
Nobody.
This is
What
so
a
boring.
sad use of comic books to see the toast goes pop. Like that's the only like zing jab gap. Like
Well,
it's toast.
look at the subtext of that's going on right there in that page. The toaster goes off. I mean, this is obviously like a hidden complaint about toxic masculinity and traditional gender roles because she's miserable because she's in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's funny you brought up the PMS Avenger who's on Mystery Men, because this character is almost like a mix between the PMS Avenger and the Spleen. Because if you remember the Spleen, that was Paul Rubin's character, where his powers were manifested from him going through puberty.
Aha! Boner power.
Yeah, it was just mainly he could fart and burp and.
Right, are we gonna have like a dad superhero and his superpower comes from like his skid marks? I don't know. I think it should be even.
No, like Skip Doctor said, no, the dad will be the villain, the real dad.
Oh, yeah.
Dad's
Okay.
against diversity.
The
Yeah,
deadbeat dad that took off will be the villain in this.
Yeah, and I bet I know his superhero name, Dr. Skidmark.
Dr. Skidmark.
Oh my God.
I'm just gonna go back in time before I had Mexican.
But yeah, this is just, I mean, you guys said this is not made for you, but it is made for me. Like it's made for somebody like me, and I'm totally not
feel
interested.
empowered?
No, I don't. I feel like this is so weird. Like, and that's the thing too, is I'm actually writing a book about a single mom as well. I'm writing a children's book about a single mom. So this is actually really close to my heart, this topic. And I feel like they're not only kind of doing a disservice to this kind of message, they're making fun of something that's like really it's a serious issue. The idea of having a one home family right now, especially in the US and Canada and stuff like that, is a very serious issue. That's why we're having so many problems, is I feel like there's this big like the missing father aspect is really affecting society. So the fact that they're trying to make fun of it and then throw in, oh, let's just have her get her powers while she's on her period, when she's like, oh my God, so powerful because her hormones and like everything in her is giving her all that power. It's not empowering. It's making it the opposite. It's just doing a disservice to what women actually go through.
Weirdly glamorizing like the worst parts, like I'm sure most single moms are like not trying to be single moms forever. Like maybe an exciting story where like the mom is like, yeah, I want to find some guy that's really going to compliment me. And then together we're a team. Like glamorize that, like trusting and giving it another, finding a nice guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He has a
Yeah.
nice union job, you know, he's stable. That's hot. Make that glamorized.
Yeah, no kidding.
Rod Thunderheart agrees completely, and he says, "Hail Midnight's Edge, Nina nailed it. That's a serial killer. It's like a cover of a horror comic. So she gets powers once a month. What about crime the other day?"
Yeah, that's what Nina was saying. And you can't say it like that, Andre. You got to say his name like Rod Thunderheart.
It's
You
gonna
can't-
be.
Ooh.
You got to say a manly name like that. You can't
Yeah,
just say
okay,
Rod
fine.
Thunderheart.
Yeah, fine.
No, it's
Tommy, you
Rod
do that,
Thunderheart.
Fine, you do Rod Thunderheart.
See,
Well,
he can't do it.
I bet you guys.
but I can't do.
Yes, you can. I'm not going to argue there.
I bet you guys there's gonna be a plot twist, and it's gonna be like she's a serial killer and she's killing men in the end, because that's what she's like, all bitter at men now.
Yeah,
and
she's
jaded.
got teeth down there.
They already have a movie called Teeth.
Oh
You
yeah,
ever
I've
that?
seen it.
What is it called?
Teeth.
Oh, teeth.
It's
No.
what sucks about it is it could have been a better movie than it was because it just doesn't understand what kind of tone it wants to be. It keeps going back and forth. It's like just be a comedy. Just be a comedy. Quit being this horror thing. But like, yeah. But no, it was
to teach a message.
Yeah, I tried to teach a message and it was just kind of me. But it's an interesting film if you have not seen it. I don't know if I can recommend it, but I don't know how much more time we got you for, Chrissy, but I know we had some super chats that were directed at you, so we should probably get
yeah,
some more.
I got a couple minutes. Minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Careful so you don't say Menzies.
Menzies. Oh.
Oh,
No.
wah wah.
I'm just gonna go. Yeah, let's see. Super Nate says Chrissy's been one of my favorite guests since she pretended to jerk off at a quarter black Garrett.
Whoa.
Well, what do you mean pretended? I do that. all the time.
Pretended.
There was no
Yeah.
pretend.
Then what was on my shirt? Menzies. Yes. That's
And half
great.
the audience are right now running
And
off
it's-
to Quarter Black Garrett's channel to find that streams.
Ex Menzies could be about trans men. It's
I think that
perfect.
was on FNT, but yeah, you're right, Chrissy.
Menstruate no more. The hormones have taken over.
I just could not believe the amount of crazy EVS was getting on Twitter over critiquing this comic book. It was insane. Like somebody actually like threatened to dox him and stuff. It was like, it was next level. I'm like, he's just saying he doesn't like the premise. Like this is, and it is a bad premise for a comic book. It is
Well,
not
actually,
great.
I'll argue that the premise itself is fine. It's the idea of giving her powers through her menstrual cycle. That's the problem.
Yes, that
An
part.
interesting story could be told about a woman who is a single mom who gets
Yes.
superpowers
Yes.
and having to juggle all that shit.
Yes.
But
That's
the-
something.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something cool about getting superpowers kind of through earning them. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like not to
mhm.
knock like natural women with periods, but it's like there's kind of nothing all that special about just like getting your period. I think it'd be cool like if we're gonna like boost somebody up, like yeah, they worked really hard or they, I don't know, prayed really hard or they overcame an obstacle or a disability. I don't know. It's just
Mhm.
blood.
Oh
And
my
then-
gosh.
Yeah.
It's so funny because all these women creators of manga are super successful and they draw beautiful women and they draw amazing men and they're super successful at what they do. And then there's Emilia Clarke and she's like, I'm going to show up on the scene, guys, and just like break the narrative of like, you know, sexist comic book stores that I've been to all my life. It's like, dude, every time
Yeah.
I've walked into a comic book store, all the guys were like, hey, like, can we
Yeah.
help you? Like, what's going on? You know, and I'm just like,
Probably that's how they were with her as well. She just interpreted it differently because if you read what she said, she's not complaining that anyone is actually did anything to keep her out. It was just a feeling that she had. She imagined it. That's what
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
and
then
said.
she pulled a bunch of numbers out of her ass that are bullshit. But anyway, sorry, Nina.
and she
Yeah.
also talked about her brother, and her brother sounds like a total dick because he was like, she was like, yeah, like my brother was into comics, and I'd be like, take me to the comic book store, but he would be like, no, I don't want you to come with me to the comic book store. That's like MySpace, like, you know, like that kind of thing. I'm
Yeah.
paraphrasing, but she was basically saying that her brother was a total dick.
She bitched about hand-me-down comics too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know what? Some of the best comics and music and other things I've gotten have been from older cousins and stuff like that. It's like That's how you get introduced to a lot of that stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, but speaking of introduce, Chrissy only has a couple of more minutes, so I want to go through a couple of super chats that addresses you. Doris Munchausen says, "Welcome, Chrissy." So yeah, we're so glad that you could join us today. And then I just have to scroll through it here to get to the next
Everyone's
one.
got such a cool name, Nina Infinity. I should have made a special jazzy name for this.
Yeah, speaking of jazzy names, Cisco Sister says, "Another stream with Chrissy. She has been
Sick of me.
everywhere amongst your mutual creators." Oh yeah, we got this one already. But again, we are so glad to have you here. I just thought that was a funny
Except for that
name.
guy. Yeah.
But yeah, but no, we love you making
Aw.
the rounds because you make everywhere you go, you add some class.
I think he's just
Aw.
goofing and
way.
being facetious, but yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
And D Joe Talking Nerdy says, "Chrissy's so cute. Trying hard to understand this Dr. Doom sounding guy."
Oh my god.
Continues, "Joking Andre, love you. Chrissy though, be still my heart. My only approved hall pass."
Oh wow.
Oh, you hear that?
Wow.
Yeah. And
You better put your
Melvin-
digits in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. Don't
No.
do that.
Well,
Exactly.
school's out for summer. No.
And Melvin Belliard also says for $20 even, so thank you so much for that. "Good day to you all, especially your guest Chrissy." And then he continues, "I'm cautiously optimistic about this show," referring to He-Man, "but with the synopsis, I'm becoming more worried about this. And now I have to try to forget that Cher song Chrissy sang earlier."
If I could turn
If I could turn
back time, if I could find a way.
That was a good
Miss
share.
Cher.
And
Dude, that was Kermit.
Hi-ho. Hi, Cher.
yeah, that was totally some Kermit.
That was
in there,
good.
buddy. It needed to be Beavis and Butthead to going in.
We
there
need a
talking
check.
with Cher. Yeah,
We need a chick that's cool.
because they actually did a song with Cher.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. We need a chick that's got like tattoos on her butt.
Yes, have me back. I'll wear a tighter shirt with more cleavage.
Oh,
I don't
you've
wanna-
been amazing. Don't worry about that much, but I'm not going to argue with you if you want to.
Aw.
Yes, it is the
That's
Crowder
not a
mug for
chick
those
that
who
gets
asked in
her
the chat.
period.
Yeah.
Next time, have me back on my period, so I'm stronger.
Hey, I'm gonna be super.
Yay. Can I plug a show really quick? If anybody's in
Go for it.
If anybody's in New Jersey this weekend, I'm performing at Tiff's Ale House tomorrow, Saturday, the 12th. It's also known as the Dojo of Comedy, but it's in Morris Plains, New Jersey. Check that out. I also will be in Pennsylvania next weekend, next Friday with Comedians of the Compound. That'll be on the 18th at the Pat Garrett Amphitheater in Bethel, PA. Then I'll be on the Jersey Shore again, doing Uncle Vinny's and Jenks on the Boardwalk July 17th and then 20th, and then New Orleans August 13th and 14th, Vegas September 10th and 11th, and then back to Dallas September 17th and 18th. And all of the tickets for my stand-up can be found on my website, ChrissieMayr.com. Check out my other podcast, Chrissie Mayr Podcast. And if a random Instagram account is asking you for $200, that is not me.
EVS is in New Jersey.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of
So,
the
of
greatest
course,
comic book artists of all time. I'm sure
Oh
he'll
my
stop by
God.
and see you. He
Yeah,
likes
maybe.
beautiful ladies.
Yeah, I'll give him some comps.
Mm.
Mm.
And of course, Chrissy's blog and YouTube channel, all of that is already linked to in the description. So be sure to check it out there. And Chrissy, it's been an absolute delight to have you guest us today. And you
Thanks,
are, of course,
guys.
welcome anytime.
Thanks,
and,
Nina.
So
And
nice
we'd
to meet
love
you.
to have you on Toxic Femininity as well. If schedule
Definitely
would allow.
Monday night. I hope
Awesome.
you
Yeah.
can make it one.
Yes,
I'll get a hold of you
yes.
about
I'll
it.
friend you. We'll
Definitely,
talk.
definitely.
Oh my God, I love you guys.
Hit me up
All
on my
right,
Bye.
Twitters,
gotta go.
girl. Bye.
Take care, Chrissy. It's been great here
Love
talking
you.
to you again.
Bye.
Night.
Bye.
All right. And then we have some other super chats we should probably catch up on.
Yeah, we
Yes,
have a couple more.
definitely.
Nina, you have some time, right? You're here
Yeah,
for
I've got some time. I'm gonna hang out for a bit because I got
Oh,
my show
perfect.
at like 2:45 my time, 3:45 Eastern. So I'll be here for a bit.
All right, excellent. I want to get back into some more super chats. Again, these are classic super chats that I can't put on screen, and I just have to find exactly where we were because I have to scroll a little bit back and forth here. But oh yeah, here we are. Mariku Ann says it could be all show, no substance, like Korra, probably in reference to the He-Man series. And Roger H sent us a thumbs up super sticker. And Steph H says best Skeletor will always be Frank Langella.
He
Is
was
it just-
damn good.
Is it just me, or does Kevin Smith look like he's turning into Skeletor from drinking so much soy? Like he's literally like,
turning into Skeletor, and I'm not crying.
oh my God, he like drinks so much soy that he's like, his tears are probably made out of soy now. It's just like, dude,
Where's my weed?
he needs
Yay!
like he literally needs like a testosterone. Like he needs to go get checked.
It's sad because I loved Kevin Smith back in
Me
the day.
too. I love Jay and Silent Bob. He was so awesome and he was so funny and Mallrats and all that good stuff. And then now he's just he's like a shell of what he used to be. It's
Well,
bad.
Even Jay and Silent Bob's reboot wasn't that bad. He even made fun of. That's the thing. I think Kevin's like
Still have to see that one.
he's like got multiple personalities, or he's definitely a shill or whatever you want to call it. He's got a facade that he puts on for all of the, the Hollywood people. And then there's the times where he just puts in what he really feels. And he usually does that in his scripts. Look at Clerks 2 is a great example. Like, I mean, he shits all over the prequels in that. And he's always been on out there going, oh, but I love the prequels. But,
yeah, I feel like you're right. I feel like he does have like a split personality thing going on or something.
Yeah, and then the same thing in did you see the reboot movie at all, Nina?
No, I see, because Kevin Smith has let me down so much that I was like, I don't know if I want to watch Jay and Silent Bob and like Jay and Silent Bob go woke. Like I'm not interested in that.
There's actually a bit where
title,
that's the thing that's great, because I was afraid of the same damn thing. There's actually a whole plot line that makes fun of woke diverse characters. And then he even plays himself in it, and he totally shits all over himself.
That's so weird. I'm gonna see. I'll have to check that out. But that's so weird because that, like, if you're making fun of yourself and you know you're ridiculous, and why do you keep doing it? It's just weird.
It's funny as hell. I mean, it's not one of his best, but it's up there. Like, it's enough people now that I know have seen it, and they're like, yeah, you're right. It has like that element to it, and it's like weird, but.
Yellow Flash was like, Kevin Smith should have stayed fat.
No shit.
I agree. I think he got his money from his fat. Oops.
But here's the thing though, that he obviously has like heart issues running in his family, meaning that he used to be moribund obese. And then, of course, if he wants to stay alive, he actually just had to lose the weight. So a big loss to the body positivity camp right there. Of course, he might have lost too much too late in life and messed him up in other ways. But
he went vegetarian too.
Yeah, that's not good for anyone. But the bigger issue to me, I think, with him is that I don't think it's any kind of thing like split personality. It's simply that he came into the business relatively late, and I think he probably picked up there, just observing everyone in pitch meetings. Oh, we love this script. We love this. We love that. This super fake.
Oh, yeah, he's a politician.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. He's a politician, but he's not a very good politician. So what he does is that he expresses his enthusiasm by being super duper over the top positive and hyped about everything. And the problem is that, like a politician, he does that, but he's a bad politician. So he takes it too far. And in so doing, he loses credibility, because you can only have everything be the bestest ever so many times before people started catching on. Wait, didn't you just like cry over this thing that turned out to royally suck?
Yeah.
And
like every Star Wars movie,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's like the thing, because then he came out and he's talking about, oh, how incredible this He-Man is gonna go. And that's all good and well, but the problem is that he's been the boy who cried wolf a little bit too many times before, and then it's disingenuous. And as we said earlier, to me at least, he doesn't have to be a fan of He-Man. He doesn't have to be a fan of anything. He just has to get it. Just like Nicholas Meyer got Star Trek without being a fan. Like, for instance, I don't really care that someone directing He-Man is a fan or not. They just have to understand it. They have to understand what was the appeal. Why was it a hit? Let's hit on those very things that made it the enduring hit it was. If you understand that and you're able to cue into that, then it's all good. You don't have to be a fan as long as you understand it. And with Kevin Smith, I see some understanding, but I don't see the full understanding. Again, he pointed out the thing with Teela, which is true. That is a storyline, but it's a B storyline. And he completely omitted the A storyline, which is the one
the thing is, Andre, though, is that it's not that he doesn't understand that. That's why from what I've observed with the trailer and everything, that he knows the grab is He-Man. He knows that's what people want to see. But now he's gone and, so like he's probably going to put that in the first 2 episodes as the grab and then do the bait and switch as you guys were talking about. But like if he knows that and then he's still doing the bait and switch, that's wrong, because like that's what people want to see. People want to see He-Man be He-Man and be cool and be strong and, beat Skeletor. Like that's the story people want to see and people want to see updated. Whereas he's like, yeah, He-Man, but no, not really. Teela or whatever her name is.
Yeah, Teela. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she'll get her period and get extra strength.
Yeah, maybe she'll
from
swing
her
from the
hair.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. I can't get over that. Like, to me, that's the most ridiculous thing about that. I so want to see that visualized, just to see how, like, some ideas are just so incredibly dumb that it defies belief. But yeah.
What the period thing?
Oh, the armpit hair thing and the period
the armpit hair thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have almost been
rooftops.
funnier if they had it so that she had like some sort of weird, kind of like, how Spider-Man has like the web thing, but she like makes herself like some sort of weird tampon device and she like throws the tampon and swings from the string of the tampon. That would have been kind of funnier, I think. Maybe.
That actually would be like a good weapon. I'm throwing tampons at people.
It's like I don't know. It's like the tampon whip or something.
Oh my God. Oh, what a world. But yeah, no, anyway.
People get all grossed out because it's a used one, and she's like, "I'll throw it at you." Oh God.
I'm sure there's some people's going to get into that also, so it might not even work all
my
that well.
God, you're right. There's like kinks, weirdos.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to kink shame anyone, but
no, you're right. You're right.
Oh my God, yeah. That might not be an ideal weapon. It would only work on like 80% of the or 90% of the population. And if your villain is in that last 10%, then or 5 or whatever, I'm not going to guess at any percentages.
Ew, Jesse says that's a tea bag for a vampire. That's gross.
Yeah. Oh my God, let's get back into some super chats. Moving on. Then we have, let's see, Master Clockwork on the related topic says, should have called the comic Superflow.
Oh,
I like that.
That's not bad. See, that's more creative. See, that's the problem, is you could actually do something even with the actual premise that was probably funnier. But as I pointed out last night on After Dark, it only works long enough for like a skit. You could not make a movie out of this. Even a comic book, I think you're stretching it. Like, I just don't see it, because the joke wears off pretty quick. That's the problem I had with Sausage Party. I was like, yeah, it's funny for 5 minutes. And then once you get past the shock of a kid's cartoon saying F words and shit, what do you have left?
Nothing.
Exactly. And that's kind of where this goes. Like, once you get past that initial joke of, she gets her powers from her period, there's only so many things you can do and places you can go before the joke has been done into
Spent,
death.
yeah.
I mean, again, it's a skit. It's a skit, and that's
At
all it
best.
is. Yeah, but moving on again. AW says for €5, once she obtains the Sword of Power and says the words, will she turn into the same He-Man Prince Adam turns into? That would be hilarious.
She's like transitioning, like
I got pecs.
oh my god. Ah,
Well, maybe that super
I would not be
muscular
surprised.
She-Ra or Teela we saw is like the post.
Maybe
power
she gets her
sword
hands
She-Ra.
out of the power sword. You
Maybe,
mean?
yeah, maybe. Well, we'll see
Oh,
where they go with
God.
it again. I want this to be good. So let's. Just
Are you
hope for
actually
this.
gonna watch it, Andre?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
of course
watch it.
I am. Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Andre and I,
yeah.
one of the first things we bonded over was He-Man. So
Of
I know that
course,
sounds so
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I will watch every single episode. I may cry by the end of each one, but I will still have to
This
watch
may
it.
be some of the most emotional we'll ever get to see Andre. Like, I guarantee, because like a lot of the other stuff we talk about, it's like, yeah, Star Wars, who gives a shit? Marvel, he's got a little bit more of investment in. Conan, He-Man, now you're talking. Dread, now you really, like Punisher, that kind of shit, now he's invested. Like, then you're going to see some emotion out of him.
Yeah,
It's gonna be She-Man. That's what it's gonna be called by the end.
Yeah,
of
then
it.
you'll see a grown man cry. So yeah.
And then you'll be She-Man. That's okay.
Like fake name says Tom and Andre Bond.
Oh my god. Menzies.
Oh, yeah.
Menzies. Menzies
Exactly.
frenzies.
Yeah. Moving on from
Or
further,
Menzies.
the Jack of all casual says Netflix, where their slogan is "Woke it up."
The only thing about Netflix that I don't generally prejudge anything is because they don't have as much, or they don't seem to take as much creative control over a lot of the stuff they bring. They just buy it. Script was talking about this either on one of our shows or the morning show one day. He flat out said, like, Amazon, they produce a lot of their own stuff, so they oversee a lot of that stuff, like like a network would, their internal stuff. But like other networks, sometimes you buy stuff from like Warner Brothers or whatever, Fox and whatnot, and that's kind of what Netflix does. Is they just farm a lot of this shit out, or they buy concepts and ideas and IPs, and that's where we're okay with Conan going there, because we know that obviously Frederick Malmberg would not go with that deal if he knew he wouldn't have complete control. So to me, that
or at
tells
least
me
enough control over some key points. Because, for instance, if you look at the 2011 movie, he didn't have full control over that because the movie kind of sucks. But you know what it wasn't? It wasn't woke. You had Conan being the most brutal he's ever been. He bedded the women, all things that you expect Conan to do, he did. The movie surrounding it wasn't great. But
and I think his interview speaks for itself. And not only that, we got the impression, I think we can safely say that he's going to do everything he can to keep Conan.
Yeah.
And he understands what makes Conan. And I'm not worried about it.
Netflix always makes me nervous because they either start out really strong and then they either cancel the show, or like after one season, or they go totally woke, like in terms of like the Umbrella Academy, for example. Like you had a great show from the beginning, like season 1 was amazing, and then season 2 was like a total trash fire. So it makes me even nervous thinking about, okay, so like
that could have been the showrunners though.
Yeah.
See, because that's what I'm saying. Like, because if they had more control, they probably would have done a lot worse shit to the Marvel shows. That's what they were doing by exercise. That what little control they had was by canceling them.
Yeah, and that's a problem, because what can you do if the showrunners themselves are the crazy ones? I mean, you had like that in Game of Thrones. I mean, it was all the showrunners. It was D&D. It was those
D&D.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was them. I mean, HBO were like, you can have more seasons. Like, you want 5 more seasons? Go for it. You can have 5 more seasons. Whereas they were like, no, 11 more episodes, and then we're doing Star Wars, and we're out. So we're going to make the best ending ever. And then, of course, they messed it up completely. And you're kind of like seeing the same thing a little bit with Marvel right now, and certainly with Lucasfilm. I mean, it's not always pressure from producers above. Sometimes it's the creators themselves who
Well,
are at
like,
fault.
but for example, in Netflix, like one of the best example of them like being it's their problem most of the time is like the Avatar, the Last Airbender ones, because the creators had to walk away from their own show because Netflix wanted it more woke. They wanted it different, and they wanted it more woke, and they wanted it more adult themed. And the creators were like, "No, that's not what Avatar: The Last Airbender is about." So we're out on our own project. They walked away. So I think that like kind of plays into it a little bit. That Netflix are a little bit. They got an agenda over there, and if you don't really play by their tune, they'll kind of
That has me worried for Cobra Kai. But
yeah.
I'm a little more worried about that. But again, I hope it's more like Netflix is just kind of like whatever, and they just watch the numbers. I don't think
They have seen the success of that show though, so they're like, I don't know if they're gonna mess with a good thing because they're already like, oh, okay.
Yeah, again, and I think a lot of that lies more in the lap of the showrunners and the studios that create the shows.
I hope so, but again, in terms of like seeing success, Marvel was plenty successful. I mean, you don't get more successful than Marvel Studios.
No,
didn't stop them from getting on the bandwagon that destroyed Star Wars.
No, I know, and that's the sad part I'm getting at, and that has more to do with the people behind the scenes.
that has to do with Disney though, right? Because like Marvel is Disney, so
it's both the things, because partially it's Disney, but partially also it's the showrunners. And as Kamran Pasha pointed out, he thinks that like Kevin Feige has been given bad advice when he's gone to a higher echelon of cocktail parties.
Yeah, Kevin Feige seems to have like totally sold out. Like, I don't know what happened to that guy, but he was just like, I'm selling out.
Oh, it could be that I think it's that Pasha is onto something when he says that he suddenly got invited to a new higher echelon of cocktail parties, and there's other requirements to be in the good company. And some of that may be jealousy. They're giving him deliberately bad advice out of jealousy. Because here comes this guy out of nowhere who is not Hollywood royalty, and now he's mingling with Hollywood royalty, those that have been there for generations. And here's this self-made up-and-comer. Who's this guy to come here and tell them how to do their business?
You mean the little shit who used to get me coffee?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you think that
that's the way these people are seeing him right now, I guarantee
ever forgiven Kevin Feige for being the guy that used to get her coffee, and now he's the one calling the shots. Oh, they don't take kindly to that. Not one bit. But yeah, anyway, we have a couple of more super chats I can bring up on screen. My countryman, Paulus Plain, says for 100 Norwegian krona. Andre, I am sipping akevitt and drinking Nøgen beer, having fun. Drunk Dudes Friday.
Wow.
Why do you got boogers in your beer?
You're making me jealous right now. Nøgen, that's an amazing microbrewery beer.
Why would you put boogers in your beer?
Good times.
What is it called?
Nøgen. It means the naked island.
Sounds like boogers in your beer.
What? I don't know. I don't know how you're getting that.
I don't know where you're getting that.
Booby. Birdie bird.
And akevitt. I'll bring some akevitt when I get myself to America one of these days. It's gonna be
come to Mexico too when you're over and this side of the pond.
There's a booger.
Yeah, for real. We can compare the akevitt and the tequila and see which is stronger.
Yes.
I see Broken Prophet is new. Yeah, I'm totally fucking racist.
Oh, so racist.
I'm the most racist man you'll ever meet.
So
I'm the most
racist
sexist
and so
man you'll ever
mature.
meet. Immature. Well,
no, mature. You're very mature.
Yeah, totally.
Totally. And then also Slash and Burn. He says the poster behind Nina has me depressed because Netflix massacred my gal.
Oh, okay. The Cowboy Bebop. I don't know.
Oh,
They
did put out some images.
Yeah, I mean,
because they got what's his face from Kumar and Harold playing.
Yeah, she's not supposed. I mean, I cannot believe they cast that dude as Spike. It's actually next level. But I don't know. I mean, they don't want her to be sexy. They don't like sexy, hot females. They want her to be covered up, just like everything else going on.
Damn you, male gaze.
Yeah. No. She can't be toxic, even though that's it. Her entire storyline is that she uses her, sexuality and, her feminine wilds to basically get whatever she wants in space. That's the whole point of her character.
In a while, Polly appears.
Hi, Polly.
Polly.
What do we got left for super chats?
Well, let's see. We have a little backlog already, but one that I can bring up on screen. Stephen Otten says, what do you think of the casting for Netflix Resident Evil series? Is the show in trouble? Well, since we're on the topic of Netflix, I feel that might be a good one.
I don't know anything about this.
Neither do I. Let's see if we can look that up real quickly. Netflix, is this a live action thing or animation or what is this?
I have no idea. Tom?
I've heard about it, but I have not seen any of the casting yet.
I know that there's some kind of Resident Evil reboot coming.
Yeah, I thought the reboot was the movies, though.
No. It's broken while we've been live. It's come out from Variety just in the last hour.
Well,
Tom,
just share it real quick.
I'm going to send you the link in the private chat so you can bring it up on screen. You can go through it.
Breaking news on Midnight.
We'll be getting to the top story here pretty soon, guys. Don't worry. I know we keep pushing it back, but we'll get.
Wait, what's the top story?
The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I thought Period Girl was.
No, that was for fun.
No,
believe it or not,
it might as well. I'm sure that's going to be the main one of what's coming June Monday. But yeah. But no, anyway, a Variety breaks the scoop then. So we're just talking about it. They broke it. Resident Evil Netflix live action series sets Lance Reddick as Albert Wesker, adds 5 more to cast. Then it continues. The Resident Evil live action series at Netflix has set its main cast, with Lance Reddick set to star as Albert Wesker. Along with Reddick, the series will also star Ella Balinska, Tamara Smart, Sienna Agudong, probably butchered that, Adeline Rudolph, and Paola Nunes. Details on which characters the others will be playing are kept under wraps. Resident Evil was originally ordered at Netflix back in August. In the series, nearly 3 decades after the discovery of the T-virus, an outbreak reveals the Umbrella Corporation's dark secrets. Netflix has given the 1-hour show an 8-episode order. And then Reddick will be the first actor of color to portray Albert Wesker in the long history of the franchise. And then yada, yada, yada. Nobody
I don't know any of these people.
Yeah, I was about to say, to my awareness, Resident Evil is not on the Sega Mega Drive. So I have never, ever played a Resident Evil game, and I have no idea who the characters are. All I know is actually like the movies. And I know there are 6 movies. I've seen the first 3. Of those 3, I only remember the first. But I really like that first one. I mean, the others, they're just completely forgotten. Didn't make any impression whatsoever. But the first one
was good. I hate zombie movies, and I really like the first.
Yeah, me too. I don't like zombie movies either, but that one, I like seeing that one in theaters when it first came out. Man, that was a great experience. I've had tremendous fun with that movie.
This though, I mean, I don't know any of these people. This doesn't interest me at all. So I'm just like, I don't know anything. Like, it's not even a cast, and I'm like, oh, this guy's in it. Maybe I'll check it out because whatever. I don't know any of these people.
Yeah, no. To me, these are a bunch of actors I have never seen or heard of, playing characters I have also never seen or heard of in a storyline I don't really know. So. I have no opinions on the matter. I hope it'll be cool for the fans.
Yeah.
There's obviously a race swap there. But yeah, I hope the fans will like it. I hope it'll be cool. I hope I will enjoy it. I hope that there will be another Netflix installment I will enjoy.
We need to
other
talk
than
to
the
Christy
original
about
movie.
this because Christy is really into like horror and zombies, and I'm sure she'll have an opinion about Resident Evil.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm
Tom,
the last
do you
guy
have
to
any
ask.
thoughts?
As I was just saying, I'm the last guy to ask. I never really played much of the games. I've seen, bits and pieces of them. I watched the first film. I enjoyed it the first time, but then on subsequent viewings, I kind of just thought this is kind of dumb. So I never watched any of the sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
me
have a
either.
fan in the chat, though. Lindsay, the Cynical Geek, says, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. Ooh, I feel a rant coming on. Okay, that's not promising. That's not promising at all.
Oh no.
And Mr. Kurt LB says, Wesker is a bad guy. Well, not anymore. He ain't if they re-swapped him. Let's see. And STR Red Wolf.
Is it possible for you to zoom in on that cast so I can at least see
Tom, can you do that?
the picture a little
Can
better?
you get the picture? Yeah, there we go.
Wait, is that the guy from? That's the guy from Fringe. I know that guy. I think the black guy, and The Wire. Yeah, he's great on a lot of stuff. Let's see, what's his name again?
Yeah, it's as big as I can get it.
It was, let's see, Lance Reddick.
Yes, Lance Reddick.
Yeah.
He's great. I know that.
Yeah,
Lance
it
Reddick
says
is
here
good in
that
a
he
lot of
was
stuff.
in The Wire, Fringe, and Bosch.
Yeah.
None of which I have ever seen. Oh, and he was also in the John Wick film franchise.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of The Wire and Fringe, and that's I recognize him from far away, and I was like, I do really like him because I know him from those shows, and he's always on point. So that's hopeful.
Yeah, I think he's the only one I recognize too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well,
Offhand, anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I don't know.
Yeah, and STR Red Wolf says it's a live-action port of the game series. It's going to suck a la Scooby-Doo. Well, I hope that there's a reason to think that. That is just jumping to conclusions. But again, I don't know. I mean, it's not on the Sega Mega Drive, so I don't know it.
Speaking of video games, there was some video game news before we get back into the super chats. The Simpsons is finally getting a one-up arcade machine. We're going to find out some news on that on E3, so I was kind of excited about that. And I guess there's a trailer for the Evil Dead game, too. I didn't get a chance to see it. What were you saying, Nina?
Like The Simpsons, like the arcade game is getting like an
arcade one-up machine. Like
like it's getting one of
like
those. Okay. Oh, that's cool. I love that. I used to play that in like the arcade, like the actual. I spent so much money on that game. I finished it.
Yep, the arcade classic. Yep.
What kind of game is that? Because like the only Simpsons game I have played is actually the first one to come out on the Sega Mega Drive. Of course, it was also on the Super. No, not the Super, but the regular.
Are you talking about Bart
Nintendo
versus the
Space Mutants?
Yeah, that's not the same game.
Yeah,
this game.
I like that game though.
I think they ported it over eventually. But yeah, it's more like basically like the Ninja Turtle game. It's a 4-person fighter game.
So
Maggie gets kidnapped. Yeah.
So it's a Simpsons fighter game.
Yeah, it's like Ninja Turtles. It's fun.
And they like combine powers. Like if Marge and Homer, like they do like different things, and Bart and Lisa.
It's fun.
It's really cool.
It's basically like the Ninja Turtle side-scrolling fighting game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's really fun.
Oh, that sounds.
Or that Avenger or X-Men game or whatever it was that came out roughly the same time period.
Man, I spent so much money on that game. It was next level.
Yeah, you guys have been great hanging in there this morning. Please hit that like button, like Mag says. We appreciate that. But yeah, moving back into super chats before we get to the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. So, but also basically, I got like the perfect thing here. Then I get it. Andre thinks Streets of Rage, but Simpsons.
Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. Also, Danny says it's a beat 'em up like Golden Axe. Okay, perfect. Now you're talking my language here. So
yeah.
But yeah, getting back into the
so it would be like Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game.
Now you lost me again. That wasn't on the Sega Mega Drive. But
They didn't put Ninja Turtles 2 on the Sega Mega Drive. I could have swore the arcade game.
Well, if they might have
actually,
done,
the
but then they
Sega would have been
called
just the regular Ninja Turtles game because I don't think they did. Yeah, the Nintendo version is only on the Nintendo. I believe.
On the Mega Drive, they did the Hyperstone Heist and Tournament Fighters.
Well, the Hyperstone Heist is like one of the fourth game in the series. They did, I think, the original arcade game on Sega, if I'm not mistaken. But I could.
I don't
Turtles
know.
in Time they did as well. That was like.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was also one. Anyway, Paradise Plane, he's annoyed and he says, Tom, Norwegians are not the fucking Swedish chef.
I know, I do that just to fuck with Andre.
But to be fair though, Paradise, you have to agree with this. The Swedish chef, he does sound more Norwegian than he does Swedish. This is undeniable. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it is. So that's I mean, Swedish doesn't sound like that, whereas Norwegian kind of does a tiny little and then back into the classic super chats that I can't bring up on screen. Dash D says, I haven't put the spoon away yet from the MOM episode, Tom. I might have to keep it handy with this potential mess. I'm counting on you. Gran Wasu 42 says, because you are He-Man fans, you should learn the Clownfish TV prayer. Please don't let it suck. Please don't let it suck. And take it to your heart. Yeah, this is a good prayer. It's one that emphasizes all the good that comes from praying. It's hoping, and it's hoping against hope more often.
That's what I'm doing with the Cowboy Bebop live action. Like, please
Yeah.
don't let it suck, please.
Oh, I feel your pain because I have it, or feel like your worries. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And Ron W says, don't have Netflix, so I will watch the reactions on YouTube. I am not getting burned again. And Frank Pellegrino sends a spoiler. The show is gonna be terrible. Oh, I hope you're not. And yeah. And Michael Miller says, Andre, She-Man is DreamWorks She-Ra show. Yeah, the one I never saw. And never will. And Neil said, oh, we got this one. How he says, my respect for Smith went out the window when he went after Clownfish. They did nothing wrong, and it's petty of him for He-Man waiting on reviews. I think we got that one. And Madeleine's Id says, is it wrong that I'm almost hoping for every single franchise to go woke just so they could collapse? Yeah, we got that one too.
Yeah, there was a patch when we got there, yeah.
Yeah, and then we have, let's see, we got that one. Joel Rice says, Kevin Smith plus Netflix. Come on, it's bait and switch, of course. We got that one too.
Yeah. I'm just reading about the Resident Evil thing, and it does seem like they did cast Lance Reddick as the main baddie of Resident Evil, which is supposed to be a white guy. So they did race swap him, and I guess people are kind of mad about that. But
okay,
I don't know.
Yeah. And Dash D's says, thanks for that, Miss Mayr. I was tired of staring at Tom's. So that's probably for returning when she did that. And Etienne Falardeau says, seeing how Smith loved The Last Jedi, you can be sure he will subvert our expectations. I want Clownfish to sue him at this point. We need new shows. And then JLo Flicks says, we didn't catch this one in time, sorry about that. But then he says, for Chrissy and the voice of Joey Tribbiani, how you doing? I have no idea how Joey Tribbiani does.
How you doing?
Oh, okay, so it's like the Italian thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Harry Nice Guy says, Chrissy is pretty, but I like Tom's haircut. LOL.
How you doing?
And Master Clockwork says, so they made the brainy bookworm Asian. Way to play into stereotypes. Yeah, I think we got that one. And Madeline's Id says, I think the long and short of it is that these people are so creatively bankrupt that they have to infect pre-existing IPs with their bullcrap. And EVA Unit 4A says Daphne is redhead, Velma is brunette. Hashtag Midnight's Edge. Oh, well, not anymore. That's for certain. And Mr. Tickletrunk on that note also says, damn ginger side, the Caucasian diversity must go. And TC says, Midnight's Edge and Midnight Edge Espanol on a roll this week. Love Chrissie. Yeah, it's been a pretty awesome week. And Merlin's Id also says, if Lance Armstrong, Charles Lindbergh, and Jackie Chan have taught us anything, it's that greatness isn't found by playing it safe. And yeah, that is that is a point. And Stephen Otten says, oh, I like this one, quote, "Ooh, you love this franchise from your childhood. It would be a shame if something happened to it." They're doing this on purpose now.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're even admitting it now. They're saying, like, we're using the platform for a message. The platform is the IP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Merlin's Id says, tell them to stop listening to their progeny. And Boar Legion says, the new He-Man symbol looks very close to the symbol on the original Hordak figure from the 80s. Oh yeah, this is true. That's actually a very good point. And J-Lo Flicks has sent us $10 with no message or message redacted. But thank you for the comment in any event. And Straight White Mage says for $5, they say diversity and only give stereotypes. They say inclusion and then exclude any money-paying fans. Dr. Doom wishes a word in private. Oh, yeah. And then, this is a good point. Mr. Tickletrunk, in reference to that mask from the Mother of Madness comment, says, looks like a carjacker from a Jodorowsky film.
Yeah, totally. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. Like something from the mind of a madman.
Yeah.
Or woman.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that, like I said, there's going to be a plot twist and she's the villain in her own comic book, and turns out she's like a serial killer or something.
Yeah, that's
if that mask is of any inclination.
It is a fear-inducing mask. I will say that.
Yeah.
Just not necessarily for the reasons that they imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And Dash D's says, not sure you're right, Tom. The Redskins gave in. Which I don't quite remember the context of, but thanks for the donation in any event. And Tonners to Tree says, it's about getting some trend money, ironically. And Frank Pellegrino sends a $4.99 super chat with the message either missing or redacted, but thank you anyway. And STR Red Wolf says for $9.99, still on the comic. This is more a web comic than a print comic, even digital, and going the long, expensive way around to do it. It should have started as a web comic first and climbed up, like One Punch Man. Again, with One Punch Man. I don't think, I think that One Punch Man could do that climb because it's popular.
Mm-hmm.
Which I kind of doubt that this has the potential to be. And Tsukiyomi99 says, outside of the Wrath of Man movie, are there any other manly movies coming out? Top Gun, maybe?
Yeah.
And there's like a new...
Mission Impossible at some point when it comes out, but I don't...
Yeah, I wanted to say James Bond, but definitely not the new one.
Oh, no, not the new one. That's called Fembon now.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if there's any male movies coming out other than those that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Can't think of any on the top of my head anyways.
And says, why does the photo show us the finger? I don't know exactly which photo is being referenced. I think it might have been
The
comic.
one, the main comic book.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
like
it did
going
not.
like this on the side.
Oh, amazing. Fantastic
Yeah.
stuff.
She's
Better and
giving the
better.
finger to the to whoever's reading it already.
Yeah, absolutely no kind of subtlety there whatsoever.
Mhm.
That's what they think of their audience,
Yep.
flipping them off right away.
Yeah.
You bought this comic? Well, this is for you.
Yeah. This is what you deserve.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like it's a metaphorical flipping off in what is on the page in terms of like the words and the
Mhm.
story, and then a literal one in your face. So yeah, good
Yep.
thing that they're being honest. And Durau On says for €5, by day, Richard Cheese is a humble single father, but when duty calls, he becomes Smegmaster.
Who is that? Richard Cheese?
Well, I imagine that he's probably the ex-boyfriend or the father
Oh.
of Mother of Madness's kid.
Oh, I see.
Best guess.
Oh,
And Dash D says, I don't think Miss Clark had anything to do with Mother of Madness. If she was, it would have been eyebrow hair. So, yeah, well, let's not body shame anyone here. I mean, the writers of the comics are perfectly capable of doing that for themselves.
Mhm.
Durau On says he promotes body acceptance and fights crime with such supervillains as Dr. Circumcisor, who, well, yeah, you know. That would be like the partner in crime of this comic right here. And Oliver Klosov says, yes, Chrissy and Nina are here. Very lovely
Oh.
ladies. Yeah, indeed. So that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Tonner Tree says she's Doomcock's nemesis. Ha ha ha. I don't know exactly which one
Who?
of you lovely ladies
Period
he was
woman
referring
or
to.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
thought.
don't know if he was
Oh.
referring to you, Chrissy, or well, yeah, fine, period woman. Let's
I'm
call
thinking
it
it's
that.
mom, yeah, MOM or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, it has to be that. Has to be that. And Michael Miller says, breaking NF, probably Netflix, just announced a Castlevania spin-off.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
that's cool.
probably
I like
more-
Castlevania.
Yeah, I haven't. This would be like the animated thing, right?
Mhm. It's an anime and it's pretty good. Actually, it's an anime based on a video game. Pretty old video game.
Yeah, I know. One of
Mhm.
them actually is on the Sega Mega Drive,
Oh
although
yeah.
primarily associated with the original Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, and actually a whole host of other Nintendo systems. There is one on the Sega Mega Drive, a Symphony of Sorrow, pretty decent one too.
Yeah, the
Come to
anime
think
is
of it.
great, and
Yeah.
the season 4 just came out, and it was pretty good.
It's
It hasn't gone like woke or anything, so
It's the same people that did the animation for that did the animation for the He-Man series, which is probably why it looked so incredibly cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. I did see a lot of similarities too when I was watching the trailer.
Yeah. Well, okay, cool. Then I hope that the Castlevania spin-off will be as good as the original. Maybe I'll check that out one of these days.
Oh, definitely. It was very good.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the recommendation. I'll be sure to check that out. And Dash Attack says, take the anime manga pill. Are you referring to
That's
me
relevant.
or what is in general?
I think
Yeah.
I think he's just talking about everyone, including you. Everyone
Yeah.
should just switch over. Because well, it's weird because I've been saying that I've been preaching the manga word and the anime word for years, like to the Western audience and like the like all my friends and everything, but they were never really into it. Like I was always the anime geek around in my circles, and like now it's finally the time. I feel like it's like the time where it's so accepted now. It's so wildly accepted that anime manga is better. It is better than what's going on now in Western
the
comics.
sales figures certainly bear that out because they're like, what was it? You had like the top 20 or something was all manga, and it's only like in the top 30s that Batman and Spider-Man starts entering the fray.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
a pretty
I've
sad-
always thought that was the case, like personally, because I've always been into that world. But now it's finally become mainstream, which worries me a little bit, because whenever something becomes mainstream, you're like, oh, it's no longer fringe, it's no longer like, then people start getting pressure to get into that same mold as everybody else, which they are now. Like, Japanese creators are actually being pressured into doing what the Westerners are doing. But I mean, hopefully they'll be like, no.
Yeah, from the Punisher's co-creator of all people, that were
Mhm.
like, no, you need to do better. You need to look at how we do comics over here, so that yours can tank in sales as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been an anime fan all my life. Like, since I was a little girl, I've been an anime fan. So yay, anime. Everybody get into it.
Yeah, well, awesome, perfect. And then moving on with a few more before we get into the next main topic, which is Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Mace Windu says, was going to say something smart, but seeing Chrissy and Nina, I have lost all language skills.
Oh,
But he didn't lose the skill to send us £5 so thank you so much for that.
thank you. Aw. That's
And
so sweet.
Mr. Tickletrunk says, Chrissy, blackmail them to have you on more, please. And Max also says, more Chrissy, please. And yeah, Chrissy, of course, welcome to come back. So we hope that we'll be able to get her back again.
Definitely.
And Slash and Burn Theory says, Cena to me will forever be the best template for a female character. I mean, she was a former bloodthirsty warlord on a redemption arc.
Oh my God, for a second, I thought you said Cena, like as in John Cena. Like, I thought you were making fun of that dude for a
not
second.
that guy, not that guy.
I know.
Cena as in warrior princess.
Yeah, I thought that was funny though. Yeah, Xena's amazing.
but yeah, that's actually pretty hilarious. That right now John Cena would be kind of a template for a female character and not one to emulate.
Totally. But Xena is amazing. You're right.
Yeah, I feel bad for John Cena. He completely burned his career and image and everything, didn't he? And it's going to be very hard to take him seriously after this.
It's weird because like everybody hates him like equally in the States, like the right and the left, and they usually fight about everything. But now everyone's like equally they unified in their hate for John Cena.
What even the left, didn't they agree with him?
No, the left were like, F this dude because F China. Like, no.
Huh. So people are waking up. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, brilliant.
It's okay to hate China now because they got, the movie industry doesn't need their money.
Well, and also because of the beer bug.
That too. They can't. Yeah, you got a bad bit of.
And also now apparently it's more okay to say where it actually came from, so it's okay.
Yeah,
now.
Exactly my point. Like, now that they don't need their money, it's okay.
Exactly.
You don't think that Hollywood controlled more of this than? Yeah. Anyway, moving on, so we can get to the
moving on.
Sorry.
No. We can get to the next main topic and keep the channel.
Yeah, it was more like that. It was more than anything.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Yeah. And Enoch Mammon sent us 2 super chats saying, my copies of Batman Year 1 and The Dark Knight Returns are both hand-me-downs. I'm glad to have them because they're both original printings. Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
And then he also says tampon nunchucks. So, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's when I was talking about her weapons as tampons, and he's like, tampon nunchucks. That's hilarious.
Try them together.
Yeah, perfect. And with that, we are mostly caught up. Just going to do a quick... Yeah, we are caught up. So with that, Lord of the Rings and Variety just announced that there's another Lord of the Rings coming, and this one is completely unrelated to the Amazon series that's being spearheaded by Bad Robot and showrun by the writers of the first incarnation of the Star Trek 4 that never came to pass. The first and the worst one. The one where New Kirk was supposed to meet up with his father, Chris Hemsworth. That drivel, they're the ones show running Amazon's.
Ooh, yeah.
But this does have
this
a
is
connection.
unrelated to that. Tom, what's this thing? What's this other?
This does have a
Lord of
different
the Rings?
connection, though. This is related to the original Lord of the Rings from Peter Jackson. And welcome, Paulie, to the proceedings. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Polly.
Hey, happy Friday.
Thanks, Paulie.
Just to
Happy
make sure
Friday.
I've got everything correct here, the studio behind the feature films, the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, will be doing this. It's a standalone feature that will depict the bloody saga behind Helm's Deep, the fortress depicted in the Lord of the Rings Two Towers, and the man whose honor it's named, Helm Hammerhead, or Hammerhand, sorry, the legendary king of Rohan, who spent much of the reign locked in a prolonged and costly war. Comes from a veteran anime filmmaker Kenji Yaima, if I'm saying that right, probably not, who helmed Netflix's Ultraman anime series and will direct the film from a screenplay by Jeffrey Addis and Will Matthews, who worked on Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, which actually got some pretty good reviews. But
Kenji also did Ghost in the Shell standalone.
How do you say his name?
Complex. Kenji Kamiyama, I think.
Kamiyama? Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds much easier than I made it sound. Joseph Chow of Blade Runner Black Lotus TV series is producing. While the filmmaking team is new to the Lord of the Rings movie franchise, the project is intended to be connected to director Peter Jackson's 6 Middle-earth films based on the books of J.R.R. Tolkien. Philippa Boyens, who won an Oscar for the screenplay for Lord of the Rings Return of the King, is consulting on the project, which will also draw its aesthetic and narrative inspiration from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The War of Rohirrim is not, however, connected to Amazon's gargantuan Lord of the Rings series that is deep into production in New Zealand. Yada yada, a bunch of other crap. I don't know if there was anything else you really wanted me to grab here, Andre, but the basics of this are: this is a standalone project, probably for HBO Max if I had to take a guess, and they're going to do everything they can to let you know that this is related to Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, while the other is not. And I have a few other opinions about and ideas about how this came about, but I'm curious to hear what everybody else thinks. Paulie, since you just joined us, what's your take on the Lord of the Rings anime movie coming from Warner Brothers, New Line?
I'm excited.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
Muchos
the Rohirrim.
gracias.
Yeah, the Rohirrim.
You sound really excited. You're like, excited. Wow.
Are you okay, Paulie?
Yeah. No,
Yeah, the excitement was
there's
too
so
much for
much
him.
going on in with some other news, and I just got something from Robert Meyer Burnett. So
Let's say, are you distracted? So what's up? Okay.
So I'm currently distracted. I apologize. And then we went over this yesterday.
Yeah, we did on After Dark. All right. Well,
so
let me know.
Apologize, but
no. Just let me know what's up on the other side. And Nina, what's your take on this?
Well, I'm super excited. I'll tell you that much right now because I'm reading about just hearing the name Kenji Kamiyama. I'm super excited. Like that this is going to be dope. That guy is a great animator. He has had a great career. A lot of exciting works, including Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. He did work on Akira like way back in the day. He's done a lot of stuff. He's done a lot of incredible things. So he was even involved in the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance in the new one that unfortunately got canceled. So this is gonna be cool, and this is gonna be, and as a Lord of the Rings fan as well, I'm super excited because the Battle of Helm's Deep is incredibly complicated, and it's a long battle, and that whole entire event that happened in the movie is like very shortened compared to what it's actually like in the books. So this is gonna be dope. I think this is gonna be awesome. I'm excited. Yes, this is cool.
Yeah, very cool. And as for me, I'm actually really, really happy that this is coming out because it's going to make it so easier to sort out headcanon. Because what this does is that it signals to me that this Lord of the Rings series, it's not really Lord of the Rings. It's kind of like the Kelvin Star Trek and Star Trek Discovery. It's a 25% different thing. That Amazon thing, it's something you can ignore completely. This thing here coming out solidifies Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings as the real canon Lord of the Rings. And this, albeit animated, will be canon to that. And it's going to come out at roughly the same time, or around the same time as the Amazon series, further pointing out the divide so that we can just ignore the drivel that Amazon is doing. It's not the real Lord of the Rings. It's 25% different bad robot crap. This is the real Lord of the Rings. So yeah, very excited, very happy about it.
Rory Mitchell says that he doesn't think that this is the actual Battle of Helm's Deep, that it's the previous historical battle in the same location. And that's even cooler because...
Yeah, this is telling the story of what happened before.
Yeah, that's even cooler
still
than that. Yeah.
And I think that there's something to this. I think something got shook out of a tree. I think New Line and Warner still had some rights to something related to Lord of the Rings, and they probably saw a ticking clock, and they're like, okay, we can get this done, and we can get it out in time to compete with Amazon. And they are, exactly, I think it's a big FU to Amazon saying, haha, fuck you. We've got Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings.
And even better, they're able to like siphon off of their marketing.
Yeah,
exactly. And they're going to
totally.
be doing it for dirt cheap because it's an animated movie. This thing can cost a fraction.
The thing with the other animated one, like the other Amazon one that's coming out, dare I say it's literally like the reimagining, because that's like the new term now, right? It's like it's always like the reimagining, like for example of Velma, or like, you know, of all these things. And it's like we don't need a reimagining of Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is already dope. Like I don't understand why you guys have to go in there and be like, we're gonna reimagine them as different races and you know, like having lesbian sex. It's like nobody cares about that. We just want to see a good show, and that's what they're doing over there with the showrunners being who they are and everything like that.
Well,
and that's not
reimagine
exciting.
Reimagine works when we've talked about this, when the legend or, you know, the original kind of is done with that generation. So like Scarface, that's reimagined from the show, from the movie back in the 30s or 40s. You know, that was an amazing, you know, reimagined version of Scarface, you know, setting it against a Cuban backdrop. And then,
wait, there's a reimagined Scarface?
But
it's coming.
most of the time, these don't work, you know, because they're reimagined nowadays in their modern lenses it's stifled from with their political by their political agendas, you know. So yeah, that's most of these just don't work.
The reimagined Scarface is coming out, or it's already been out?
No. The original was in the 30s, and in 1983, Brian De Palma and Oliver Stone did Scarface with Al Pacino.
There is another version that's supposed to be coming
that's the
out.
thing. Another one is coming. I mean, they're doing a remake of the Pacino
The
one.
reimagining, yeah.
Well, it's a remake of remake, but what I'm saying, I'm just giving an example of where it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like the new one is like that's some BLM thing, isn't it? Or
I believe so.
See, I'm not interested in that. Like you cannot make like say hello to my little friend like better. Like you just can't. Like it's not gonna happen. No.
They can make it different when he's like talking something about like defunding the police or something.
Oh God.
Well, the interesting part that could be with that is that the hip hop and African American community are really the ones that made Scarface relevant. You know, in the 90s, they kind of resurrected the movie because We talked about this before. Scarface was a flop when it came out in 1983. It was absolutely panned by the critics, and it wasn't until the hip hop community really took it as their own. So there could be something really interesting and cool about an African American version if they stay away from the politics, because they are so connected.
So why not make like if they're gonna do that, why not make like a Grand Theft Auto movie, like make San Andreas? That would probably be way more successful because people actually like Grand Theft Auto and San Andreas, and it's actually already that. Like, and it's
we kind of already got it with American Gangster too already. With
correct, American Gangster is their Scar. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And
Denzel Washington. That's what I was trying to think.
And those were real gangsters. I mean that trace back all the way back to Bump Johnson from the 20s. You know, Frank Lucas was Bump's what do you call it? Right-hand man. That was a great character, American Gangster. And so yeah, you are right, but all I'm saying is that Hollywood loves to redo, hits from the past. So
Hollywood's got nothing left.
What could be interesting, because the African American community is so so connected, to the '83 Scarface. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be something I'd be interested in, but not a political agenda. Scarface, of course.
By the way, just a little piece of trivia. I guess there's an Indian version of Scarface as well, made in 1990.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like a Bollywood?
I don't know. It's called Atish Baz.
Oh my God.
Yeah, did that Bollywood remake of Rambo, did that happen? Or did that
I think so.
Sideways? Yeah, I think that happened too. Like they had like the publicity stills and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, Atish Baz. Okay. So
Yeah,
Atish means fire, and Baz means like playing, so playing with fire.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's what it means. And no, I don't speak Indian, but Farsi has a lot of the same words, which is basically the same in that context. But,
yeah, very cool. Yes, also when you have like when one language gives you an advantage in understanding another. I do that so often. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm looking forward to this. I think this is going to be fun, and I kind of like the little I kind of snickered to myself underneath my breath, or even out loud, actually, at the fact that Warner and New Line are going to just be like, "Look what we're going to do." Like, they're going to do it for dirt cheap, and
I think
probably
that's funny.
And again, it may just be that like, because they had, they retained the rights to certain things from Lord of the Rings still, which is the problem Amazon ran into. And I'm sure this is something that just fell under their purview that they could do. And I said something probably shook from the tree, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, if we don't do something with this, we'll lose the rights in the next year or two." And somebody's like, "Good, do it now so we can get it up against Amazon and make it animated so it's cheap and quick."
Well, and it's also like I said, like right now, anime is so in right now. This is like it's hot. It's happening. Anime is really it's really taken off, especially with Netflix and everything. I don't think this is gonna be on Netflix though, right? This is gonna be on their own.
I think it'll be on HBO Max
this is gonna be on HBO Max.
Something like that,
yeah, because it's Warner Bros. So this is they're tapping into a really fruitful market right now. So and it's exciting. Like I said, they got a really, really great animator and a great person at the helm here. Literally helm's deep. But it's good. This is gonna be good. This is fun. This is a fun remake, or like not remake, but
fun continuation, fun expansion of the lore. Something that the Amazon series most certainly won't be.
Exactly. Something people want to actually watch and get into. So this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm into this.
And also STR Red Wolf says, the question here is, will it be as good as the Rankin and Bass Hobbit?
Like the 1980s.
No, this is from 1977. Like many people are familiar with the Lord of the Rings adaptation, but before that, there was like an hour-long Hobbit adaptation from Rankin and Bass, and it's awesome. It's better than the Hobbit movies.
And I think it's part of the reason why there were so many rights problems when it came to making The Hobbit, because the animated and the live action rights were split up at one point, and I think that was why.
And I will say that the music in the Rankin and Bass version were much, much better than in the movies. I mean, it was so good that even South Park referenced it and parodied it.
Lemmywinks.
Twice over, and the Lemmywinks.
I never really watched the Hobbit one, but I love the Lord of the Rings one, the 1978.
You're talking about the Bakshi one, yeah.
Yeah, the Ralph Bakshi one is one.
That was pretty cool too. But I was kind of let down too, Andre. Now that you mentioned, because I don't know if you knew, I spent a bunch of money last year to get the record soundtrack of the original Hobbit.
Yeah,
and it was like $45, but it was brand new. And I was like, that was worth it. But like, I was upset when they did the movies, the live action ones, that they didn't have like a new rendition of like Greatest Adventure and shit. Because they didn't
have that. Oh, that's a shame.
No,
it's such a great song.
The only song that wound up in the Hobbit movies was "Crack the Glasses" or "Bend the Fork and Crack the Plates."
Movies.
Yeah. They did that because that's in the book.
And that mountain.
They did the Misty Mountain song. Yeah, all the songs that are in the book, which is fine. But I was hoping, because like the other movies, they had like Enya and what's her face from Eurythmics. I can't think of her name now. All of a sudden, where they did this. Annie Lennox, thank you, Paulie. Yeah, where they did the pop songs for the soundtracks for the other movies. I'm like, why didn't they have somebody come in and do like a new version of The Greatest Adventure and stuff like that to help hype this up? It would have been cool, But even though The Greatest Adventure was an original song, it's still, to me, when I think of The Hobbit, that's the song that first comes to mind, always.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, indeed. And the Master Jedi points out, if you watch the Rankin and Bass Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings animated movie by Bakshi, and then the Rankin and Bass Return of the King, you get most of the story.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah, that's interesting. You actually have like the Lord of the Rings trilogy there, although from two different creative teams.
Which is also funny, because I thought I heard some rumor, and it may have been this is what I heard about. But I thought I'd heard that there was a plausibility that Bakshi was going to get to finish his Lord of the Rings, since it was going to be so cheap to finish it now, and it was going to be like some little event thing for HBO Max, unless this is what the individual was talking about.
Oh, that would be really cool. See, that's one of the things I wouldn't mind seeing remade, would be like the animated Lord of the Rings.
Well,
like
and it wouldn't even really be a remake. It would just be him being able to finish the original version, because originally what he did, that one you were talking about, is the first part. They took the 3 books and split it in half.
Yeah.
So that first movie ends like midway through the second book.
Yeah.
And they never finished it. But then Rankin and Bass came back and did a version of Return of the King that basically gives you the rest of the story.
Yeah.
But
it's nice when they're able to complete each other that way while ripping each other off in the process. That's Hollywood for you.
Well, what's cool about the Return of the King is it has all the voices. Yep, there you go, Paulie.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Paulie woke up.
Are yet to be said.
I don't know the words, but I can hum it. I've always been able to hum it since I was a kid.
I know all the words.
Oh, well, excuse me.
I was singing it with you. You were doing the music. I was doing the singing.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2.
No, we're not going to do this.
Duet.
What lies ahead? Lemmywinks.
I actually remember the Lemmywinks lyrics better than
I remember the original quite well, because I played on Mead Radio all the time too.
But anyway, Nicholas Wharton says, to Midnight's Edge, it might be on Netflix for those of us who live outside of the USA, because HBO Max still isn't available internationally. And yeah, probably you're right.
They're pushing for it, though.
That depends on where you are. If you are in an area where HBO Max has a deal with Netflix locally, you're going to get it on Netflix. Where there is another operator, that's where it's going to be. And it's going to be like that for another 2-3 years. That's the moment when all of the extra deals expire. And that's the first time when they actually can launch HBO Max around most places. And someone listened to our talk about the Swedish chef earlier and felt inspired. So, yeah, nice look there, Tom.
I just saw that. Yeah.
I just saw that, too.
That's cool.
We got the Conan, and the Conan's going to get the booth. And the booth is going to get the Conan.
So what would be the what is he, Swedish chef?
Kun!
How would he sing? How would he sing the Hobbit song? Yes. That is awesome.
That has got to be your best imitation ever. I kid you not.
You've not heard my Kermit?
No, this was better.
That is so cool, man.
Not much
This was-
better, but
this
that
was hilarious.
better.
This is why I came onto the show. Not to.
It takes a lot of work to do the Swedish Chef. You got to put your whole body into that shit.
Okay, all right.
Well, it works. It works. It really does.
Pretty, Jibo.
This is so funny.
Tom's being racist.
Are you actually
Yeah.
like doing the hand gestures too, like as you do it?
Work.
Like no
I
Thomas,
used to be able to
because,
do Miss Piggy, but that was when I was younger because it's basically Fozzie. You gotta go higher. I can't do it. I can do like the Muppet Baby version, but I can't get the high pitch in the back of my throat no more.
Yeah.
No.
You mean like this?
Oh, Kermie. I used to
See-
be able to do it, but yeah.
See, that's what we need to be doing. More Nina, like everyone needs to be doing impersonations and stuff.
Handel's great.
Almost
try.
everyone.
Well, even you, Andre.
Yeah,
You gotta
can.
give it
Yeah,
your
I can.
all.
I can do a killer Dr.
There's
Doom
Ralph the dog.
impersonation
Ralph the
by
dog's
talking like
pretty easy.
myself, and that's pretty much it. But yeah.
Okay,
Ralph
well-
the dog is just
In lieu of
Ralph the dog.
yesterday, why don't you do like why don't you say Vatos Locos forever?
Vatos Locos forever. I can say that too.
Okay, that's pretty-
Vatos locos forever.
Nina. I like how she goes off camera.
I have to
You
because
just can't do it on.
Yeah, I can't like it. Yeah,
Yeah. You don't want because then you get self.
you get self conscious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate
And also, Mexican Iron Man says for $10, point of Mexican personal privilege. That's gonna make my blood boil right there. Anyway, my favorite Muppet is the chef. 2, I need a retry of the Tom and Paulie humming duet for Hobbit. Replay chef speak. So, yeah.
Everybody go see Nina on Infinity Talks and her Infinite Hope today. There you go.
Birdie baby.
Yay, that was awesome.
Yeah, gotta get the plug in there with a little song.
Yeah, of
Nina
course.
Infinity.
So yeah, everyone go check out Nina Infinity on YouTube. We'll put the link in the description for the
Yeah, Infinite
upload.
Hope starts at 2:45 Central, 3:45 Eastern. It's right before Friday Night Tights. So
Mm-hmm.
come
You know
hang out
what?
with me.
Pete's right. It does kind of sound a little bit like The Great Escape, don't it? It's a very similar melody. You're right.
Kind of does.
Yeah. I used to be able to, but not so much anymore.
Oh, hey, it's Vicky.
That's
Nah, I
a
sound
bit
like
better.
shit.
That's a bit better. I can do Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear is easy. Oh bother.
I don't even know if I want to try that.
But with that, though, we
Yeah,
are
Andre's
fully caught up on Super Chats,
Right.
and we have covered all of the main topics. So with that, I'd like to say thank you again to Chrissie for coming to join us as the featured guest of today. It was a pleasure to have her on. We hope to have her back again soon. Nina, thanks for joining on. It's always
Of
a pleasure to
course.
have you
Thanks
as
for
well.
thanks for inviting me, and it was awesome to meet Chrissy. So hopefully we can get her on Toxic Them and have some fun. It'll be great.
That would
Yeah.
be amazing.
Mhm.
And Paulie, of course, it's a pleasure every time you have the time to join us. It was really awesome how you were instrumental in making yesterday's epic stand and deliver class reunion roundtable happen. So
That was amazing, Polly.
Yeah. If anyone missed it, go check out the replay. It was there was a lot of great emotional moments for us. It was really special. So that was cool. It's, and then so you're welcome, Andre. Onward and upwards. Para adelante.
Yes, indeed. Adelante. That is indeed how it is. And of course, we also have to say thank you to every single one in the chat that has been supporting us, just being here, sending super chat, like Paulus Plain, who just sent another 15 Norwegian krona saying, Tom, I love you, sweetie. Tom. So yeah, he evidently was impressed with your Swedish chef, so it's all forgiven.
Well, we need to do the Swedish chef talking about stuff that we're into. That's like that sounds like a great after dark special. 2016 Ghostbusters. Put it in the toilet and push.
That actually gives me an idea for a show, but we'll save that for.
You gotta basically give me phrases, and then you just dance around whatever phrase, and you throw in words here and there. That's what I like. My favorite one is when in the Muppet movie, when the film stops, and he's like, the flame is on fire."
That's like the best.
It's like the only time you can ever understand what he's saying.
That's the absolute best part. Is just that when you understand a couple of words in there. And with that,
Scarfish, say hello to little friend.
Yeah. And with that, I do believe it is time for some of those glorious koalas in the rain.
You got another super chat.
We did. It's the last moment. We got one from Fake Name.
Fake Name says, chat agrees. It's Monday night. Right. Okay.
I'll read it. Chat agrees. It's Monday night tits, not toxic femme. And
Well,
let's do it.
Chi-Chi's?
Chi-Chi's.
I like eating at Chi-Chi's. Is there
We
Chi-Chi's
have
even around anymore?
We have a little Spanglish saying, Chi-Chi's Christ, nálgame Dios.
Nice one.
Wow.
Nice one.
And with that,
come on. Wait, Nina, you've heard of that.
How do you say koalas
before.
in the rain in Spanish?
I don't even know koalas. No, lluvia.
Well, how do you say in the rain?
I just said that.
Nuevia? How do you say
Lluvia.
it? Lluvia. Lluvia. Koalas.
Chi-Chi's in the rain.
Koalas in the rain. Koalas in the rain. No fucks given. Koala.